Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.
TSC has streaming television services available in the Gigahood, delivered over our blazing fast fiber internet. Choose TV to fit your family's needs. Enjoy our basic package with all the local channels, or try the extended basic package with sports, news, music, and family entertainment. Download the Your TV Green app and use your Amazon Fire Stick to start watching today. Still need internet? Go to www.telcirco.com and choose the Connect Me button to complete the fiber connection form, and we'll take care of the rest.
Welcome to Ace Cuts Barbershop, a locally owned and family-oriented shop. Our professional team consists of Chase, Scotty, and Jake, and we strive for perfection in every haircut. It's also more than just cutting hair for us. We build great relationships and friendships with everyone that walks through our doors. So come in and see Chase and the crew at 1649 Salina Road, St. Mary's. Let's go Riders!
The St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation is proud to support St. Mary's athletics. We invite you to become a member of the Alumni Foundation by checking out our website at www.mhsaf.com or checking us out on Facebook. Good luck, Riders.
Auglaize Equipment Rental is your source for all your equipment needs. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner with a project, we can help get the job done more efficiently. Check us out at 1900 Salina Road or auglaizeequipmentrental.com or just call 419-394-7883. Auglaize Equipment Rental.
Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Spece. Welcome to Spece Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
As a family practice, Spece Chiropractic welcomes in patients of all ages. Whether this is your first time or you've done this before, Dr. Spece and his compassionate staff are here for you. What makes Spece Chiropractic unique is their three-tier approach. By using chiropractic care alongside massage therapy and physical therapy, all your healthcare needs will be treated compassionately and comprehensively. Spece Chiropractic. Make the right choice for your care.
The importance of quality driver's education for our teens is essential. Capabilities has provided classroom and in-car driving instruction for St. Mary's and surrounding communities for over 20 years. Live classroom and online options are available for our students. Capabilities also administers the Ohio BMV driver's exam for our students and the general public. Contact Capabilities today to learn more about our driver's education services.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Grand Lake Health Systems Field here in St. Mary's, Ohio. It's Friday night football on Rider Nation Station. The Roughriders are welcoming the Shawnee Indians from Lima tonight. Both of these teams have started their warm-ups, and tonight's a very special night on the field and off the field, as it is Hall of Fame night for the Memorial High School Alumni Association. There are 8 inductees into the Hall of Fame tonight, and so in just a moment here, we're going to go down to the field, to the PA, and we're going to honor them and have that entire broadcast here on Rider Nation Station. Before we jump into that, though, I'm Zach Farrell with the play-by-play tonight. Joining me again is Drew Jacobs for the color commentary. Drew, it's a beautiful night for football, isn't it?
Yeah, a little cooler than it was last week. We were talking about how it was nice 80 degrees. Looks like we're going to be closer to high 50s to get this game started. But, again, football weather, you can't ask for much better. Honestly, might be better for some of the players from a heat standpoint. But, again, sunny, beautiful St. Mary's here at Roughrider Field. And ready for another great night and hopefully a Roughrider win. A lot of things at stake here tonight on the field. We have two very similar teams. Shawnee comes into the game 5-1 in the WBL, 5-2 overall. Right now they're tied for second in the WBL standings. St. Mary's is fourth with 4-2 in the WBL, 4-3 overall. Both of these teams sit right now in the playoffs in Region 10 Division 3. Shawnee at 6 right now, St. Mary's at 10. Both of these teams looking to win tonight in order to hopefully secure that playoff spot. Yeah, I think, both teams are playing for a little bit more as well. From the way the standings are looking, it does appear as long as each team gets 2 more wins, They're likely going to be playing in a playoff game. The big kicker is where they're going to be playing that game. This win for both, from a point stand, it would help solidify home field, which is always the goal for that first round. Makes it quite a bit easier. You don't have to travel, especially with kind of how the regions have been broken up. You could travel anywhere from 45 minutes to 2.5 hours. So this game has some magnitude to it. A couple of teams that are, middle of the pack in the league right now, but again, are kind of turned their sights to what the playoffs have in store and how can you set yourself up for success going forward in that second season.
Just to remind everybody, for decades it was the top 8 teams made the playoffs. Very tough to get in. That got expanded to the top 16 teams. Very easy to get in. Caused a lot of mismatches in the first round, we should say. But that has been trimmed back this year to the top 12 teams. So the top 12 teams get in. The top 4 actually get a bye for the first week. So as you were saying, the second 4 get a home field game for that first game, right? So both of these teams can lock themselves. They may not be in that top 4. They could. Shawnee could slip in there potentially. St. Mary's could, depending on what happens. But both teams looking for either the bye or the home field advantage going forward.
Correct, yeah. That's again, just how we kind of spoke to it. That's what you would like. Nobody wants to travel that first week, especially with the unknown of who and where you're going to. You always like for that trip to Defiance to be your longest one of the year. So, I guess as a whole, this game, it'd be a big win for St. Mary's to bring home. And, last week was the first time that they'd eclipsed and had a winning record on the year. They'd been flipping back and forth from 100 to 500. They flipped. They finally are over the hump at 4-3, and you really just hope to build on that and not look back. You did have a, the back half of the schedule is a little bit, I guess for lack of a better term, weaker when it comes to who you're playing. So that is in the positive for St. Mary's, but the hopes would be that you can kind of take advantage of that, take some momentum into the playoffs, get that home game, and anything can happen once you hit those games. So, well,
as SMAB takes the field and as we await for the Alumni Hall of Fame ceremony to get started here, let's talk a little bit about last week for both of these teams. Shawnee gets its first loss in the WBL against a very good Wapakoneta team. It was close at first. Shawnee was tied 7-7 in the first quarter, but at the end of the game, Wapakoneta gets the win 42-14 over Shawnee. So certainly Shawnee coming into this game with, depends on how you look at it, either maybe being exposed a little bit and maybe slumping, or just ticked off and ready to get back on the winning side of things this week.
Right, yeah, it was very similar. And going back and watching the game to the game that St. Mary's played against Walpock, unfortunately. Walpock, it had hung close for initially, kind of went punch for punch, and then Walpock was able to kind of pull away as the game went on and just continued to lean on them. I think this game's going to shape up very much so like the game potentially last week when it comes down to both teams. A couple of offenses that I think your defenses are on both sides are going to have trouble with kind of what they're throwing at. Walpock has some athletes and they like to run back and forth. They utilize them out of the backfield. I don't know that they have anybody like Xavier Kelly was last week, but again, that didn't seem to be a problem for the Roughriders. It was kind of elsewhere. So,
well, Van Wert's top rusher is their quarterback, J.J. Spiker.
Correct.
And mobile quarterbacks always seem to hurt St. Mary's, right?
Correct, yeah. So they do a lot of zone reads, powers. You'll see them out of the backfield. They have certain position or certain formations where they hold their tight ends, they motion them in. Kind of tells what they're doing pre-snap. It's essentially if St. Mary's as they were doing their homework, I'm sure they were picked up on that and are hopefully able to key into some of those tendencies that they've shown in the games leading up to the night.
As I was watching Shawnee, I was just noticing, to me, they look a lot like Van Wert and a lot like Bath. We're going to see a lot of handoffs to the back, to the running back out of the shotgun, but they're also will send the running back out of the backfield and go 5 wide a lot and look for quick pass plays, looking to do those quick 7-yard outs or 7-yard stops where they're able to take advantage of the DBs playing a little bit softer defense on them. And Wapak fortunately caught on to that last week and was able to sort of take that away. I hope St. Mary's' defense is prepared for that and ready to go tonight.
Yeah, I believe they will be. It is one of those things that you got it dosed with it last week. Shawnee does have a little bit of a wrinkle, like you said, with the running quarterback in comparison to Van Wert. Van Wert definitely was looking to utilize elsewhere. Not necessarily letting their quarterback do the running, but Shawnee's very much more willing to do so. He will keep the ball, he'll pull it, they scramble around, chuck balls deep. They've got plenty of big plays on the year with him just making plays and being athletic. So again, it's going to be crucial for St. Mary's to continue to run with those wide receivers if, pocket is broken and the quarterback's able to be.
Well, with that being said, we can see Smavs on the field turning away to the PA announcer here. We're going to go ahead and tune it down to the PA announcer and allow for the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
High School Alumni Foundation Hall of Fame induction.
Service to schools, and military service to country. For military service to country, Colonel Richard B. Bouchon is a retired colonel who served 32 years in the Army Air Corps and Regular Air Force, where he flew 28 combat missions in World War II over Europe in a B-17 Flying Fortress heavy bomber. He also served as a test pilot, served during the Korean War, and served a one-year combat tour in Vietnam, flying an F-4 Phantom bomber. Richard turned 102 years old on March 21st, 2025, and we celebrated with him in Arizona, where Richard still volunteers every week at the 390th Memorial Museum, which is dedicated to the unit Richard served in during World War II. Richard could not be here with us tonight, so representing him on the field is Bill Ruane, Superintendent of St. Mary's City Schools. For athletic achievement, the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation inducts 1995 MHS graduate Ted Liette. Ted was a middle linebacker on the great Roughrider State Football Championship teams of 1992 and 1993, where he was named First Team All-WBL, First Team All-Northwest Ohio, and First Team All-State, as well as Defensive Player of the Year for the state of Ohio. He was a 4-year starter on the University of Indianapolis football team, where he was a 2-time All-American and set records for all-time tackles, solo tackles, and tackles for a loss. He was named the 1995 Defensive Freshman of the Year and MVP Defensive Back in the Year in college 3 years in a row, as well as the 1998 Defensive Back of the Year. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame at the University of Indianapolis in 2024. Ted could not be here tonight. He is the defensive coach for the Minster Wildcats, and he is coaching his team in Versailles. Representing him on the field is his wife, Deanna, and his brother, Todd. Next, the Alumni Foundation inducts 1977 MHS graduate Barbara Poppy into the Hall of Fame for academic and professional achievement. Barbara graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree from William Woods College in 1981 and a Master of Science in Epidemiology from the University of Cincinnati School of Medicine in 1987. She has spent the past 5 decades as the executive director of various community shelter boards and organizations advocating on behalf of the homeless. She is the nation's leading expert on this issue. In 2009, she was selected as the executive director of the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness by President Barack Obama's administration. She worked with 19 federal agencies and 4 cabinet secretaries to launch the first ever comprehensive federal plan to prevent and end homelessness called Opening Doors. She has left a lasting impact on the lives of homeless individuals. For military service to country, we induct Franklin A. Eberly. Staff Sergeant Eberly was a 1940 graduate of Memorial High School. He served in Company K, 394th Infantry Regiment, 99th Infantry Division in the U.S. Army. On November 19, 1944, while in the Ghost Front near Elsenborn, Belgium, Sergeant Eberly was on patrol with 2 other soldiers. They crossed into Germany, where they stopped at an outpost before continuing. The patrol was checking the map when Sergeant Eberly was struck by German machine gun fire. Wounded, he told the privates to leave him when he was struck again and was killed. He left behind a wife, Betty, and his daughter, Sharon Eberly Wolfelhorst, who is here today to represent Staff Sergeant Franklin A. Eberly and his induction into the MHS Hall of Fame for military service to country. For service to St. Mary's City Schools, the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation inducts 1965 MHS graduate Alan Minerdane. Al received a Bachelor of Science in Education in 1969, where he was a Jennings Scholar at Bowling Green State University and a Master of Science degree in Education in 1973 from St. Francis College. He taught social studies at McBroom Junior High School for 34 years, where he helped start the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip and chaperoned on the trip every year except one until his retirement. He was also the head of the junior high Scholastic Bowl team, served as a high school driver's education instructor, and was a GED examiner for 8 years. He was a master at classroom management, and his former students enthusiastically wrote to support his induction. For military service to country, the Alumni Foundation inducts Spec 4 Laverne E. Pax into the Hall of Fame. Laverne graduated from MHS in 1953. He enlisted in the Army, was selected for training as a sentinel or honor guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Over 80% of soldiers who undergo the rigorous training fail. Verne did not fail. He served as a sentinel for 18 months and was selected by other sentinels to stand guard at the dedication of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for World War II and Korea soldiers next to President Dwight Eisenhower and the 200 Medal of Honor recipients. He was the last sentinel to stand watch over the World War I unknown soldier and the first to stand guard over the unknown World War II and Korean soldiers. Representing him today are his daughters Renee Pax Metz and Dana Pax Farley and his son Eric Pax. For service to St. Mary's City Schools, the Alumni Foundation inducts 1956 MHS graduate Sue Thompson. At the age of 10, Sue was stricken with polio that left her in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. Unable to attend school in her small town in Indiana, Sue's mother homeschooled her until her family moved to St. Mary's 5 years later. There she was encouraged to and did attend Memorial High School. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree from Ohio Northern University, a Master of History degree from Wright State University, and taught English at McBroom Junior High School for 30 years. She was named the Outstanding Young Educator in 1973, one of the Outstanding Young Women of 1973, and she was appointed or elected to numerous committees where she was a fierce advocate for the rights of the disabled. Sue once wrote, she did not want to be considered a superior handicapped teacher, but a superior teacher who happened to have a handicap. Representing her tonight is her niece Shyla Hauser and also Cam Hauser. For military service to country, the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation inducts First Lieutenant Gene A. Dennis into the Hall of Fame. Gene was the only child of Byron and Margaret Dennis. He graduated from St. Mary's Memorial High School in 1944. Gene Dennis received an appointment to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, where he graduated in 1950. Gene was selected to train as a pilot and for advanced jet training. He was assigned to the 474th Fighter Bombardment Squadron, where he successfully completed 20 missions. On September 28, 1952, Lieutenant Dennis was flying an F-84E Thunderjet at a 4-man formation when he was shot down over Pyongyang, North Korea. His remains have never been recovered, and he remains listed as missing in action. Representing him tonight is his cousin, Shonda Beach. We are working with his family to collect 10,000 signatures in support of our petition to urge our elected representatives to find, identify, and bring Gene Dennis home. Please take a minute and sign the petition that is being circulated in the stands during the game, or stop by the home team concessions and the petition tonight. Let's bring Gene Dennis home. Rider fans, I present to you the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation's Hall of Fame for 2025. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Well, welcome back, everyone, back to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. Zach Farrell joined again by Drew Jacobs. Drew, what an amazing group of alumni inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight by the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you don't realize you have all these fantastic people that come from this town, and every year I enjoy being at this specific football game that, you do get a little bit of taste of what all the amazing things these people have gone out and done in the world, and being able to support the country and just circle back and give back to the town of St. Mary's. So,
yeah, we don't have time to talk about all of the stories tonight, but we are going to interview Diana Pendleton Dominguez at halftime at the for the Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria halftime show tonight, and it's just incredible. Some of the stories about not only their lives and their service, but also how we were able to track some of these people down. So just by pure luck on some of these, going through microfilm and finding out about Mr. Bishong, Richard B. Bishong, Colonel Bishong, the Alumni Foundation had really no idea about him, and the veterans groups had no idea. His story had kind of been lost in time, and then so they reach out to try to find him, and he just happens to be 100 years old, working in a museum in Arizona where he's still talking about these type of things. So just little stories about that. Just amazing the quality of alumni that we have had come through St. Mary's High School, and the service to their community, to the school, and to the country is just incredible. It looks like they're going to be pausing for the colors coming across the field and also the national anthem. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the instant classic last week that we witnessed here on Rider Nation Station between the Roughriders and the Cougars, and talk a little bit more about the game tonight between the Indians and the Roughriders. We'll be back with that right after this.
Calling all riders. Salina Cycle Center has all of your motorcycle, dirt bike, ATV, and e-bike needs. Need tires, parts, cleaning supplies, and riding apparel? Salina Cycle Center has you covered. If your bike needs tuned up or accessorized, mechanic and owner Aaron Schmidt will have you back on the road or trails. Stop in and see us at 6869 US Route 33 or check out our Facebook page at Salina Cycle Center. Let's ride!
Dr. Compton has been delivering quality chiropractic care for nearly 20 years. He's committed to helping you find relief as quick as possible so there's no lengthy care plans. At Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, most insurances are accepted and walk-ins are always welcome. Conveniently located in downtown St. Mary. To learn more, visit us online at smpainrelief.com and follow us on social media.
It's the name that you want to remember. Neck and Back Pain Relief Center.
Go see Eagle Loan Company in Salina when you need a little extra. Loans made easy, payments made affordable, loans subject to credit approval. Conditions apply.
St. Mary's Eagles 767 is dedicated to promoting the general welfare of the citizens of St. Mary's by giving special attention to public improvements. They are also committed to helping meet the public needs and all that relates to the betterment, convenience, and comforts of the citizens of St. Mary's. For more information on how you can become a member, call 419-394-3257 or stop in during business hours at 404 East Spring Street in St. Mary's. St. Mary's Eagles, 767. People helping people.
In need of a marketing idea for your business or organization? From concept to execution, we are your go-to for promotional products, signage, apparel, print materials, graphic design, and fundraising. Freedom Marketing Strategies is a Roughrider-owned business with over 50 years of marketing, graphic design, and fundraising support. Call Sissy or Gail today to get started.
St. Mary's traditions include football, SMAB, and Fowler's TV. Founded in 1957 by Richard and Peggy, Fowler's TV is celebrated, like a Roughrider First Down, for its dedication to high-quality electronics, custom installations of indoor and outdoor TVs, Sonos sound systems, surveillance systems, and so much more. With 12 months of special financing available on approved credit, shopping local has never been better. Fowler's knowledgeable and friendly staff uphold the tradition of exceptional customer care, servicing only what they sell with the same or next day service.
Well, welcome back to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. You can see the riders are taking the field through the helmet provided by the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation. SMAB is playing. Zach Farrell here on play-by-play. Drew Jacobs, color commentary tonight. Drew, it's about ready for football tonight, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We're back again. After that whirlwind of a game we got the call last week together of back and forth and very little stops and great offense, and it just kept going back and forth, and we may be in for another very similar type game tonight. A couple very similar teams, both hungry for wins. We kind of talked about already, but the importance that although this may not be for a league title, that for where they kind of stand at the playoffs and kind of where things shake out as things get towards the end of the season. So
yeah, if you're just joining us, Division III Region 10, right now Lima Shawnee sitting at 5-2 at number 6 in the region, and St. Mary's sitting at 4-3 at number 10. So a lot on the line tonight as far as securing that playoff spot and also potentially getting a home game.
Yeah, absolutely. The Roughriders, of course, as it goes, the Roughriders are going to come out and they're just going to try to tempo, control the ball. Same story as it was, last week and the previous games. But the issue or the change from last week to this week is that Shawnee is actually the number one rushing defense in the WBL. And I believe up until last week in general, when they had given up 42 to Walpock, they were the number one defense in the WBL when it came to points as well. So, that is a little bit different than what Van Wert had come in. But, again, the Roughrider rushing attack has been able to overcome most of that throughout the season. So I would expect no different this year or this week.
Yeah, St. Mary's comes into the game averaging 276.7 yards per game. That's number 1 in the WBL. But Shawnee, as you said, is averaging just 101 yards against them on the ground, only 9 TDs on the season against them rushing-wise, and that's number 1 in the WBL. So we have number 1 rushing offense versus number 1 rushing defense tonight. We're going to see who breaks in that situation. I'm hopeful that you're right that Shawnee hasn't seen a rushing attack like St. Mary's. We don't see teams rushing very much. We've seen a lot of spread offenses. We've seen a lot of different kind of rushing out of shotgun, scrambling, things like that. So hopefully the Roughrider wing T is able to take advantage of that tonight.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get to see right away again the Roughriders and get the ball first here and hopes to get things going. The Shawnee special teams and kicking game has not been the strong suit they've been able to hang their hat on this year that it has been for the Roughriders. So another advantage that they would hope that the Roughriders may be able to take advantage of.
It's 7 o'clock. It's 62 degrees for the Varsity Lanes time and temperature. And this kickoff is brought to you by Varsity Lanes. It's squibbed. No chance for Moore or Fink to take it back. I think that is number 1, John Young's. Second week in a row, a little bit of return there for John Youngs. This time didn't go to the sideline, try to take it up the hash mark and get a little something out of it. And they're going to have pretty good field position. The Roughriders are starting at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, it's a great place to start. We talked about it all last week about the average drive start for the Roughriders just being such an advantage. And, it's not going to be any different here to start tonight. Obviously, you can expect the same dose you got last week. I don't know that we're going to expect Caleb Schmidt to go over 300 yards again and score 6 touchdowns, but again, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anybody except Caleb Schmidt gets it right here. There we go. Riders try to the outside. They got a lot of space. That's Luke Rammel. Maybe they thought Shawnee would be looking for Caleb Schmidt too.
Yeah, you could see they were packed it in. They were in the full house look again that they continued to be in last week. Immediately went to the sweep. Were able to set the edge and guards out in front. Rammel continues to run.
Caleb Schmidt out there blocking too. Very nice job. Great look there on our Larry Schaff instant replay. Meiterding under center again. Quick handoff to Fink. A little bit of a traditional St. Mary's dive and only gets a couple yards out of that. Looking like maybe just 1 yard.
Yep. Just the straight dive look, you saw it a ton. You spoke to it, even looks like a wedge. If it's not broke, don't fix it. The Roughriders trying to go back to that, get back into that early this week.
Meiterding surveys his huddle. Riders, I noticed, are starting in full house again, but they've got a wideout this week. Maybe starting to spread some things out and see something different. Rammel again around the outside. He gets a good 7 or 8 yards. Going to be close to a Fowler TV first down, but just a little short there on the marker. 3rd down and 1 on Shawnee's 30-yard line. Definitely 4-down territory for the Riders.
Yeah, another good look there. You see in this replay the front side guard stays home, and the linebacker was running through. He was able to pick him up. In return, the Roughriders had basically used Schmidt as a guard to pull. So you still have the numbers going out, but you're also able to kind of have the offensive line stay home and take care of that front side.
Riders in that full house backfield that we saw so much of last week. And there's the handoff to Caleb Schmidt. First time calling his number tonight, and he's going to get a Fowler's TV first down as he falls to about the 27-yard line. Riders having their way with the Shawnee number 1 rush defense so far.
A lot of I'm sure the game playing that Shawnee did this week after Caleb Schmidt went for 200 against OG and then 300 plus against Van Wert last week is obviously going to be fine 38. Where's he at? Where's he going? Which way is he pull? So it's interesting that the Roughriders come out and kind of use that against them.
Meiterding in T formation, wingback to the right. They're looking for a sweep again. It's Rammel again. This time he puts his helmet down and takes the guy for a couple yards on his back. Unfortunately, not able to get downfield quite as far as it looked like from this angle, so only 1 or 2 yards out of that, and it's going to be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, you see the adjustment made by Shawnee. The defensive end decided he was going to, the outside linebacker decided he was going to fly upfield. They're rolling him with the tight end, so it'd be interesting if the Roughriders decide to go inside that.
Schmidt off tackle there, fullback dive on that left side. Gets a few yards, but good tackle there from Shawnee, number 2. That's Dalton Hobson.
Yeah, exactly what you see here. 7 just flew upfield on that sweep. Roughriders come right back to it, but instead when he flies upfield, they're able to run up on the inside and pick up a few yards.
That's the chess match that happens so often with the Roughrider wing T offenses. Okay, you're going to fly to one side, well, then we're just going to run a little bit inside of it and let you take yourself out of the play.
Correct. It's an easy block when you don't have to touch somebody.
Full house backfield. Wide receivers out, split out both sides of the ball. Handoff to Fink, and he gets to the first down. Real close spin move, breaks a tackle, and Dylan Fink gets himself a Fowler's TV first down there for the Riders. What good hard running there at the end of the play.
Yep, getting to the first down marker. Doesn't look like
they're going to mark him short?
The spot was very good there by the referee. But, again, you see him this time using the wide side of the field.
I don't understand that at all.
It does appear that he was definitely past the marker there, but
you know we need officials in high school football, so I'm going to bite my tongue a lot tonight. But that's a poor spot in my book. We'll take a look at that this week in Rules of the Game with Bill Krug. 4th down. Big rider down here. Caleb Schmidt bounces it to the outside. He's untouched to the end zone.
Touchdown, Schmidt.
That's a Salina Cycle Center touchdown for the Riders. Caleb Schmidt, who else?
Exactly. It's his 21st of the year. He came in. He was tied for the lead with one of Bath's playmakers for the touchdowns on the year. He overtakes him already early in the night. It was a great read, great run by him. Shawnee, root hog, just trying to keep guys from being able to go straight at him. So what's he do? But down block, and Schmidt's able to read his guards and pop to the outside.
Beautiful run, beautiful touchdown for the Riders, and that's a beautiful extra point there, sponsored by Eagle Loan Company out of Salina. With that, on the Sean Barnett Electrical scoreboard, your Riders 7, Shawnee Indians 0. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this.
Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub has partnered with Rider Nation Station this season so that every Friday night, Guarneri's can be Roughrider Central. Guarneri's will be streaming Roughrider football live every Friday night at 7, paired with your favorite Rider aid. Call Guarneri's during or after the game to place your pickup order for pizza, wings, or hoagies.
JT's provides unique menu selections in a casual atmosphere you're sure to love. Whether you stop by for a meal or catch a game in the bullpen, make yourself at home and enjoy. Food, friends, fun. JT's Brew and Grill. Come dine with us today.
We're back here, St. Mary's, Ohio. The Riders are on the board first, 7-0 early on here in the first quarter. Drew, what a first drive for that offense.
Yeah, 60 total rushing yards. You're over halfway of what Shawnee's been giving up per game. So not something they're used to. We'll see how the response is. See what the momentum can be carried by the defense.
Caleb Schmidt came into the game with 171 attempts, 1,213 yards, averaging 173 yards a game, 7.1 yards a carry, and as you said, 20 touchdowns. Already added to all of those numbers so far, including the touchdown, but we saw a lot of different running backs on that drive help out for the Riders.
Yeah, like we had said, the game plan you have to assume for Shawnee is where's 38. Roughriders have a lot of good athletes on that can tote the ball, and Luke Ramel and Dylan Fink both showed that drive that they're more than capable of taking care of it and chunking them down the field.
Brady Triplett, the X Factor, of course, puts that kickoff through the end zone, so the Shawnee Indians are starting on their 20-yard line. This will be a quick handoff. I believe that's to number 2, Dalton Hobson. He is their third leading rusher, I believe, for Shawnee, behind QB J.J. Spiker at number 1, also number 1 rushing, and running back Isaac Meeks, number 0. Isaac Meeks is a much bigger, brawnier type of running back, tries to run you over. But clearly Shawnee saw some tapes for the Roughrider defense and thought that they could run those quick sweeps maybe and take advantage.
You're going to see that a lot out of this formation, the same one that they're in right now. We can speak to it a little after this play.
Spiker hands it off to Meeks, and there you go. Ryder's able to, I think, stop him for no gain. Oh, they're actually going to say that he got a first down.
Yeah, that formation that we just saw with the single back and the wing there, that's a very good tendency of what Shawnee's looking to do there. They utilize Spiker. He's their leading rusher, as you spoke to. He has 10 rushing touchdowns on the ground. They'll utilize a running back. They'll utilize motion. What they like to do out of that is run the ball.
Good hard run there from Meeks, and they give him the forward progress for that first down. Spiker out of the shotgun again, looking to pass this time, looking to his left. Almost sacked, scrambles around, man in his face, throws it downfield, finds his receiver. Looks like number 3?
Number 3, I believe.
Reese Davidson.
Reese Davidson. He's their leading receiver. He had 499 yards coming into tonight's contest, 32 catches, so that puts him over the 500-yard mark. We had talked about it in the pregame that Spiker is very athletic, and he wants to continue these plays. He'd rather throw the ball down the field rather than take off running. So
not horrible coverage from the defensive backs, but when you got that much time that the quarterback's able to buy for himself, somebody's going to get open. Man in motion, Spiker takes the ball on a called draw right there off tackle for the Indians, and he's taken down, but not before he gets 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, as we're seeing early, he's kind of their do-it-all guy. I believe that he was hurt for quite a bit of the season last year, and they built the offense to basically do the same thing. So the struggles from last year that they had have kind of been erased now that he's been able to stay healthy and back at the quarterback for them.
Head coach Shane Wireman definitely relying a lot on Spiker this year, but they do have weapons all across the field that he's able to get the ball to. Number 5 in motion for Shawnee. They throw it his way. He catches it, but actually loses a yard on that catch. We'll take that.
Yeah, it was actually a nice catch by him out there near the sideline. The Spiker just pulled him up a little bit and left him short, and it worked out in the Roughrider favor to kind of make for a longer third down. It's going to bring you to a
money down.
Ace Cuts Money Down.
Money down.
Ace Cuts Barbershop. We appreciate their sponsorship all year of the Money Down. This is the first money down that we've had so far for the Roughrider defense. Be great to get a good stop here. Maybe a loss for Shawnee. Kick them outside of 4th down territory. Spiker takes a quick snap, and but there is a Roots Pub penalty on the ground. They are signaling offsides from St. Mary's, and that's a backbreaker right there. That's going to push them. They're saying it was a first down. It was 3rd and 5.
Yep, just a little too juiced up on that third down. Saw some last week. Just got to refocus, be disciplined. The ball's right there. Just as the ball moves, that's when you can get your get off.
We were jumping a lot last week. I had some people ask me if they thought that there was some, I don't know, extra calling going on with something, but not able to tell. I think that's Myers. Oh, nope, that's Meeks again. Isaac Meeks, number 0 for Shawnee. A little jump step through the hole, and he's down 7 or 8 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Riders.
Yep, exactly.
Or for the Indians.
Yeah, exactly where they like to use him. Kind of between the tackles, downhill. Utilizes that size that he has.
J.J. Spiker just 96 completions and 1,300 yards passing this year. Is that Meeks again with the ball, I believe? One of the Shawnee players loses his helmet. He'll have to come out for a play.
I believe once you lose your helmet, you have to attempt to remove yourself from the play. I'm not sure if that was being done or if he was attempting to at the Roughrider play, but that may be something to talk about for your rules of the game.
Yeah, I will say that rarely happens.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple games ago. Caleb Schmidt lost his helmet and kept running. No backs in the backfield, spread 5 wide. Spiker rolls out, looking downfield, has a man, just throws out of his reach that was intended for number 11, Jaron Bagley.
Yeah, you see him kind of be able to break away and from the Roughrider defender, but just a little bit of an inaccurate throw by Spiker on that. You know, that is one of the faults that we spoke about it last week with Banward's quarterback. Same thing with Spiker here tonight. He's thrown 11 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 7 interceptions. Shawnee on the year is -1 on the turnover battle. So again, you know, if the Roughriders have a chance to be able to force one on a bad throw, it could be a game turner.
Spiker hands the ball off, I think, to number 5, Colton Hobson, and he's able to take it pretty far down the field for a first down. You know, that's just these are the same quick sweeps, jet sweeps that we saw early in the season. Galleon take advantage.
Yeah, if you watch the motion there, turns into a crack block, kind of eliminates your guy that's supposed to set the edge. Then it's your defensive backs are forced to come up and make plays, and guys out in front blocking doesn't make for a very easy.
Shawnee knocking on the door, 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Spiker keeps the ball. He's got some blockers, and he walks into the end zone for a Shawnee touchdown.
Yeah, unfortunately, you see the quarterback power with that wing or sniffer, whatever you want to call it. That's essentially just a glorified fullback, and then with Meeks leading through, just body on body going through, and Spiker's able to do the rest.
Really too easy there. We see a lot of blitzing from the St. Mary's defense, and just nobody in the area where he was, where that play was designed.
Yeah, sometimes you get caught in the blitz, and that's usually what happens when it opens up like that.
This is the Salina Eagle Loan Company extra point for Shawnee, and that's good. We're tied all at 7. 2 minutes and 43 seconds left here in the first quarter. We'll be back with the Varsity Lanes kickoff right after this. This kickoff is brought to you by Varsity Lanes. Not only is there a Alumni Foundation Hall of Fame game tonight, but also the little cheerleaders are out tonight for their pink out with the Tailgate for Cancer happening this weekend. So congratulations to all of them for getting their chance to be on the field and get their Friday night lights.
Yeah, that drive by Shawnee, they went 75 yards, 17 passing yards. They kept on the ground quite a bit. A total of 58 yards. Kind of steady dose of both run and pass, so hopefully the Roughriders are able to make some adjustments after that first drive, but hopefully the offense is also ready to come back out and retake the momentum.
Kicker for Shawnee, number 30, Harom Jamai, squibs it again, picked up by number 12, Caleb Elling. Able to get a couple yards out of it, but going to be down at the 30-yard line. Not quite as good of field position as last time, but still pretty good for the Riders.
Yep, I think they kicked it directly at Taylor Compton. I'm not sure that they were really squibbing it one way or the other. They just were going to force him to get out of the way and let one of the Roughriders up backs end up with the ball.
This is the second drive in the quarter for the Riders. Second drive also of the game. First drive, we saw the Riders march 60 yards down the field, put it in the end zone with Caleb Schmidt's 21st touchdown of the season. Riders come out with that full house again. Wide out to the left. Fink has a nice run up to the outside. Full head of steam and just hits a brick wall by somebody, but gets 5 yards out of it.
Yeah, kind of upended there. Same tactics the Roughriders deployed, the first drive. They come out in the full house formation. And they want to go out wide and continue to stretch it and force Shawnee to go sideline to sideline.
Grady Hughes on a wide out to the left side. Minerding hands the ball off to Caleb Schmidt. It goes to the right side and goes nowhere, but second effort gets him a couple yards. Shawnee was looking for that one.
Yeah, you can see their defensive tackles just continue to dive at the legs of the center and 2 guards for the Roughriders. It's much of the tactics that Otto Glandorf enforces when they attempt to stop the wing T rushing attack. So taking a page out of their book that was able to stifle the Riders for a little bit of that game.
Riders come out with 2 wideouts, one to the left, one to the right. T formation, and the ball off up the middle to Caleb Schmidt. Nice looking trap for the Riders. Caleb Schmidt takes that 7 or 8 yards for a Fowler's TV first down. Riders get a new set of chains.
I think you'll see here if this defensive tackle or defensive end coming from the far side doesn't make that tackle, Caleb Schmidt might have just walked into the end zone. There wasn't a whole lot left there to stop, so a great effort plate by number 51 for Shawnee, and whether he just stumbled into it or not, it likely saved the touchdown.
That's one of the reasons why Caleb Schmidt's so good. He's a bruiser, but he's got so much speed when he doesn't get touched that he can turn it into a huge play as well. Caleb Schmidt, again, 38. Riders going back to him after, 42 carries last week?
Yep, right back to the well like we had talked about at the end of the game. Yeah, sure he probably sat in the ice tub multiple times this week, and tell him essentially he could get the same steady dose, so be ready to go. Now the Roughriders so far have been able to balance it out a little bit. Caleb Schmidt's got 6 carries so far, and the rest of Luke and Dylan Fink have both split 3 carries apiece, so a little more balanced, more so than last week.
Full house backfield. Meyerding with the snap from post. Hands it off to Luke Rammel. Luke Rammel bumbles, and he's going to be very close to a first down. Just depends on the ball marking.
Yeah, you can kind of see that sweep turned up a little quicker than the previous ones where they had stretched the sidelines. Again, just kind of a result of what Shawnee's defensive ends and linebackers are doing.
They're going to say he's a whole yard short. I still don't know about that spot either, but I think the Riders wanted a little bit time to think about it. There's a timeout on the field. That's a Miller Funeral Home timeout for us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. Actually, that's the end of the quarter. Sorry about that. End of the first quarter. It's a Miller Funeral Home timeout for us. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
Albert Sporting Goods, outfitting your team since 1980. Our products consist of individual and team equipment for all community organizations, club teams, high school and collegiate sports. We personalize your gear with embroidery, screen printing, digitizing, and graphic design with on-site services to deliver quality uniforms, spirit wear, and fulfill every equipment need. Order online now at albertsportinggoods.com.
We're back here at Grand Lake Health Systems Field. Zach Farrell, Drew Jacobs. Riders going to turn around right on the 50-yard line and go the other direction here. That was an interesting spot for Luke Rammel. I thought he may not have gotten the first down, but he was a lot closer than 1 yard out. Nonetheless, third down here for the Riders. Full house formation. Looks like Meyerding going with the long count. Quick handoff to Caleb Schmidt around the outside, and he's going to easily have the Fowler TV first down for the Riders.
Very similar to that score that he had earlier in the game. You see the shootouts trying to take legs and by the defensive line, and Schmidt's able to pick his battles, bounce it outside, and have an easy first down for the Roughriders.
So far, Riders winning the battle of the number one rushing offense and number one rushing defense. But Shawnee was able to answer, so Riders definitely, it feels like, need to put the ball in the end zone as much as they can. More than usual.
Yes, absolutely.
Caleb Schmidt again on a little trap. Stopped, but able to get 2 or 3 hard-fought yards out of that. That's all you're looking for sometimes in those traps.
Yep. I want to go back to that previous play about, we had talked about the bear crawls, shootouts, root hogs that the defensive line's doing. And that's not as easy as what St. Mary's offensive line is making it look right now. Those guys are essentially shooting out at the kneecaps. And St. Mary's has rules that they're trying to get to block, so it's important that they get out and around those guys.
Absolutely. Big Xander Post getting out there in front, blocking downfield on this one, and it looks like the ball got knocked out, and official comes in, but he's saying that St. Mary's able to keep the ball there. Very dangerous. Dylan Fink able to come up with his own fumble.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, yeah. That just sometimes the ball falls your way.
Yeah.
That was a very well blocked there. Xavier Post downfield.
Yeah, I don't.
Did they call him down? Or
they called him down. The Rough Riders were lucky to retain that football, I do believe.
We'll take a look at that on Rules of the Game this week. Counter play to Luke Rammel. Luke Rammel goes for 7 or 8 yards.
Right back to it. We see they're continuing. They've hammered the sweep early that whole first quarter, and now you turn around and fake the sweep, bring the counter back underneath, and only one guy out there to tackle Luke. He made a nice play and prevented that from being a much bigger gain.
Nice job by L.J. Ruane getting himself through there. The big tackle able to get around and pull on that. Always neat when the tackles get a pull.
Right.
L.J. Ruane Jr., 6'2", 235 pounds. Riders come back out with the full house. Man wide to the left. Handoff to Dylan Fink this time, going around that same side. This time he puts both hands on the ball as he goes down. And he gets a good Fowler TV first down on that. The Riders are knocking on the Dr. Mike Compton neck and back pain relief red zone, trying to put their second score in for the game.
Yeah, Dylan's very athletic, and he's able to make a lot of guys miss. But with that, sometimes you see the ball kind of hanging out wide there. So, again, it only takes one, and, he's back to having 2 hands on the ball, and I expect it to hopefully ride out the rest of the game as such.
Schmidt up the middle, tripped a little bit, but able to fall forward for 6 or 7 total yards. Great first down for the Riders.
Yeah, clearly the Rough Riders offensive staff realizes they're essentially a half step away from breaking that. They've continued to go back to it. Different guys continue to just barely get a hand on or barely be able to clip a leg from Caleb Schmidt. So I would expect it to continue to happen, and eventually he's going to pop one of those as the defensive front gets worn down and the Rough Riders continue to lean on him throughout the game.
Trey Moore split out wide to the left. Full house backfield for Minerding. Hands the ball off to Fink. Fink works his way up the middle, kind of cuts that sweep off short and gets a couple yards out of it and brings up a more manageable third down here. It's going to be 3rd and 2 for the Riders.
So the play will bring up 3rd and 2.
Definitely 4th down territory,
That's
right?
where I was going to go. I'm assuming that you're probably in 4th down territory at 3rd and 2. You have 2 plays to get this. Again, although you have all the confidence in the world in Brady Triplett, with the ease of that first possession by Shawnee, you are inclined to think you may have to score touchdowns to win this game rather than field goals.
Wing T formation, wing to the right. Handoff to Caleb Schmidt, running around the outside. If they give him where he fell, then they definitely got the first down, and they do, thankfully. Great job, Caleb Schmidt, of being horizontal but not letting his elbow or knees go down, and just watch his legs here around the end on this replay. Just continues to turn the legs under the pile and dives forward. It was that second effort there that got him the first down.
Yeah, able to utilize that offhand for the Fowler CV first down.
1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Quick handoff to Luke Rammel. Luke's going around the outside looking for the end zone. He gets a few yards. Riders are really feeling it now on this drive. 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line.
With what the Rough Riders have shown so far, it makes it very difficult for a defense. Where last week Van Wert just could not stop the dive, the fullback dive going to Schmidt. The Rough Riders have varied it quite a bit. You can't really stack the inside box right now because they've shown they're able to go to the edge with the sweep. So kind of opens the playbook a little bit as with what you want to do here towards the end zone.
Minerding hands it back off to Rammel again. Rammel going up the middle a little bit, gets another couple yards. That brings up a tougher 3rd and 2 here. Actually going to be more 3rd and 3 actually from where they gave him the spot. I see what I think probably the Riders are thinking that that Shawnee's going to be keying Caleb Schmidt, so they're thinking maybe they can catch him off guard, get the ball to Rammel, but it's tough when you have Caleb Schmidt down here. I would be surprised if anybody else gets it the next 2 downs.
Yeah, you would expect, and go back to your workhorse you've been able to lean on all year long.
3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Handoff to Schmidt. He's off the edge, and he stumbles, bumbles, rumbles into the end zone. That's going to be a Salina Cycle Center touchdown for the Riders.
Yeah, it was a great drive by the Roughriders. He was 70 yards, 16 plays on that. Able to mix it up between your running backs. Schmidt is up to 11 carries, Luke Rammel's up to 7, and Dylan Fink's up to 6. So really spreading it around, keeping Shawnee on toes makes it very tough to have any kind of answer to what the Roughriders were trying to do.
That'll definitely make the St. Mary's Foundry highlight film, and that's a Salina Eagle Loan Company extra point for the Riders. It's 14-7 on the Sean Burnett Electrical scoreboard. Riders are up. We'll be back right after this.
And speaking of great teams, St. Mary's Foundry would like to thank its very own team of hardworking employees for their loyalty and dedication. If you're looking for rewarding challenges and first-string wages and benefits, check us out at stmfoundry.com or on hometownopportunities.com. St. Mary's Foundry, where iron and ingenuity meet.
Miller Funeral Home has been serving the Roughrider community in its time of need since the 70s. Our business is a family affair, dedicated to serving families with integrity, dignity, and compassion. Miller Funeral Home, proud to be a supporter of the Roughrider community.
Zach Farrell, Drew Jacobs back here in St. Mary's, Ohio, where the Riders have scored their 2nd touchdown of the night. They lead 14-7 on the Sean Burnett Electrical scoreboard. Brady Triplett lining up his kick here. This kick is brought to you by Varsity Lanes. I want to thank everybody out there watching us from Varsity Lanes tonight. With any luck, Brady Triplett puts this one into the end zone. It's going to be close, though. And Shawnee kick returner just lets it go in. We appreciate that.
Continues to add to the record that he already has in Week 8.
I want to give a shout-out to Russ Bailey on the road for a show tomorrow, watching us from Cave Run, Kentucky. Says, go Riders.
Might be a little chilly for Russ out on the lake tomorrow. Hopefully he's packed warm.
It is. Speaking of which, it's 62 degrees on the field tonight, looking like it's going to slowly get down, maybe 54, 53 by the end of the game. And then my watch is telling me 37 degrees overnight. It is all of a sudden football weather in fall. Shawnee trying to get it scored, trying to answer the Riders on this drive. Spiker hands the ball off to Meeks. They had a lot of people in the backfield for being a shotgun offense right there, didn't they?
Yep. They utilize the tight end and the wings. Two of their bigger, they're skill guys, but they're definitely built more to be able to do that kind of the banging in between the offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So, they'll continue to utilize those guys as the night goes on.
Couple yards there from Meeks. That'll bring up 2nd and 8. Spiker got the ball, looking to throw the ball down the field. He's got 11 short, but he throws long, and he overthrows his receiver. Shawnee looking for a flag, but that looked like more incidental contact there. Good coverage for John Youngs.
Yeah, you see him kind of reach out and look to put a hand on Meeks going down the sideline, but again, I think that ball could be deemed uncatchable. I'm sure that's what the referee was seeing there. He had a pretty good view of it from the back.
I apologize. That was Zach Myers on the coverage there. Great job, Zach Myers, on that coverage. That brings up an Ace Cuts money down for the Riders defense here. This would be huge if they can get a stop here. Shawnee motions a guy out, sends another guy in motion, and the legal procedure for Shawnee called. That's a Roots Club penalty. That'll help the Riders on the money down. Apparently the mic for the official not working tonight. That's okay.
Roughrider student section out in strong numbers tonight, and they're pink. Support the Roughrider football team.
We got another Ace Cuts money down then. They'll reset. Instead of 5 wide, they keep one running back. He stays back there to pass block. Spiker under pressure, comes forward, looking down the field finds a man just outside of coverage. That's number 11, Jaron Bagley, and he goes all the way for a touchdown. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Rough Riders brought a little pressure from the front side there. It dials up where they're running free, but the running back Meeks was able to get a hand on the blitzer and kind of free up, and that's what you get. When you do have that man coverage downfield, it's a lot more difficult as this play breaks down to continue to run with those guys.
82-yard touchdown pass, spiker to Bagley, and just like that, the Shawnee Indians are a extra point away from tying it up. I don't think that was good, though. Nope, that was no good. That was a lot of pressure from the Riders, and that went sideways. And that's a good break for the Riders. So on the Sean Burnett Electrical scoreboard, it's the Riders 14, Shawnee just 13. We'll be back right after this.
Plus One Professionals Real Estate. We're dedicated to making your move smooth and stress-free with our Plus One perks and free use of our moving truck. Plus One Realty, where our agents always go the extra step. Plus One.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes is a middle school and high school club looking to spread God's love throughout numerous schools and communities of our local area. FCA's favorite play of the game is both teams joining together in prayer at the conclusion of the game. God bless you, sports fans.
Buffalo Wild Wings in St. Mary's, proud to support Roughrider Athletics and the Memorial Student Athletes. Join Buffalo Wild Wings for each Roughriders football game, streamed on Rider Nation Station. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, drinks, sports.
Welcome back to Rider Nation Station's broadcast here at Grand Lake Health Systems Field. Shawnee gets on the board again. Quick touchdown from an 82-yard pass there. And, Drew, we got 5 minutes and 19 seconds left here in the second quarter. I know St. Mary's has been dominating the time of possession because they've had these nice long drives. I think personally they need to try to use up all of this clock here and not give the ball back to Shawnee. First they need to recover that kick. That was a live ball. Trey Moore is able to get that in the air. We do have a Roots Club penalty on the field, usually indicating in that spot block in the back or holding.
Yeah, kind of an unfortunate bounce with the Rough Riders there, but then Trey Moore was able to come up and field that. I think we are going to see a holding there on the first guy down. I kind of pulled him down in front of him, or on top of him. I'm going to back the Rough Riders up and give them their worst starting field position for the night.
I think that was on Taylor Compton there, 32, trying to get back, and unfortunately pulls the guy back down on top of him. So that'll be 10 yards from that spot. First down, the Riders will get a start on the 22-yard line. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left, and I think they need to try to use this clock up.
It's an unfortunate penalty, but it may end up in the Rough Riders' favor. If their offense continues on the same path, that extra 10 yards will hopefully burn some more time off. They do have all 3 timeouts as well as Shawnee, so could see that stop the clock. If Shawnee's going to try to get the ball back, they could utilize them as well.
Riders quick toss sweep out there to Caleb Schmidt. Gets a few yards, not a ton. Riders trying to use that sidelines as a 12th blocker, right?
Yeah, I want to go back and talk about that extra point. That has been a struggle for Shawnee this year. I believe their kicker was 16 for 24 coming into tonight for extra points. And that's a big point right there. If you're going to go blow for blow with somebody scoring touchdowns, that hopefully the Rough Riders can capitalize on that.
T formation for the Riders. Handoff to Luke Rammel. Try to do a little sweep to the left side there, a little fullback-led dive. Gets a couple yards, but that brings up a huge third down here for the Riders early on in this offensive drive.
Yeah, I think the Rough Riders look like they're kind of taking their time on this initial first down. If they pick up this, you'll look to see them go a little more up-tempo, get back into the huddle, back to the line of scrimmage a little quicker. Kind of do a 4-minute offense. But again, it all kind of is decided on getting this first down.
Third down here for the Riders. Wing T formation. Wing back is in motion there. It's going to be a toss sweep out to 38, Caleb Schmidt. And number 7 for Shawnee, Chase DePalma, there right now. The senior makes a huge play.
Yeah, the Roughriders tried to go back to that near side. You see Fink picks him up, but it looked like the blockers had decided it was maybe going to turn up a little sooner than what Caleb Schmidt was anticipating. Unfortunate part is there's nobody out there once DePalma was off from the Fink block.
Yeah, it's tough. I was looking. Shawnee does not have a very good pass defense statistically, so it might have been nice to see Meiterding try to pick that one up in the air. Fair triplet with the punt. Fair catch called. Number 11 for Shawnee, Jaron Bagley, who just scored that touchdown. And Shawnee going to start with excellent field position on the 44-yard line, trying to march across the 50. 3 minutes and 12 seconds left for Shawnee on this. I know it's tough, Drew, but what does a defense do when you got a quarterback that can buy himself this much time there?
I mean, you have to continue to respect that exact play that you just saw. You just physically cannot let guys get behind you on defense. And even if you give them a little extra cushion to not allow it to happen, that's the big plays are what's going to really win this game. So you just cannot. You have to basically make a business decision that it's not going to be you that's giving it up.
Spiker, little handoff to Meeks. We do have a Roots Pub penalty flag coming in there at the end. It's interesting. I'm not really sure what that's going to be about. Maybe holding, but we got a replay. Maybe we can try to see what that. Officials talking about it definitely came in late. As we see here on the Larry Schaff Auto Sales replay, quick. So they're saying illegal hands to the face against the defense, so against the Riders, and that's a huge 15-yard penalty here with 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's not one you want to give up there, especially at the start of the Shawnee drive. Rough Rider defense, again, they have to find a way to get a stop. Obviously, the clock's not really going to be a factor with the 3 timeouts, so just find a way to get off the field.
Be a great time for a interception. As you said, Spiker has almost as many interceptions as touchdowns this year. Spiker takes it, though, on a QB called draw, and he's got a lot of space, unable to tackle him. Runs downfield and comes out of bounds after getting a first down. He's going to be out around the 21-yard line. You were saying, Drew, that their kicker has not been very reliable on extra points, and so you don't think that they're probably going to have him try to kick a field goal, right?
No, I would imagine this is now that Shawnee's where they're at, they're going to try to score this a touchdown. Maybe if they really get desperate and have to go to it, if they don't get a first down here and the clock's running out, but I imagine they're going for 6 here.
Spiker,
nice play.
Yeah. So Spiker hands the ball off to Meeks again, and great play from the Rider defense. Who is the number on that? Of course, Taylor Compton.
Yep. It's that kind of we had talked about it early last week, where he's able to he makes a lot of plays that normal high school linebackers are not able to. He found himself in the wrong gap there, but was still able to kind of contort and make a tackle in the backfield.
We've got another instant classic shootout coming on here between two teams, similar like we had last week with St. Mary's and Van Wert. Spiker looking for the end zone. He's got a guy wide open, and the ball is dropped.
That was a great play by Trey Moore to continue to finish the play. It looked like the receiver had started to juggle it a little bit. Usually if you give up on that receiver, when he's juggling, he's able to kind of settle his hands and make the play. But, he finishes all the way through the ball and is able to rip it out and not allow him to finish that. So
Colton Hobson just unable to secure the ball. Riders are maybe fortunate that they didn't think that he had possession there. I mean, he caught it, maybe took 1-2 steps or half a step, but
yeah, it looked like he was attempting to make the football move and put it away, but I'm not sure that he fully had it tucked before Trey Moore had it bobbling again.
It's a big money down for the Riders here. Ace cuts money down. Spiker bringing everybody into the backfield again. Number 3 goes out wide. This usually is where they're going to run, right?
Correct.
Not this time. Spiker keeping the ball, looking down the field, had a man wide open and overthrows him. Oh my, he wants that pass back.
You could tell that the Rough Riders had studied their film just based off the tendency and where they had sold out, fully expecting that ball to be handed off, or they'd faked the power. But what they have there is a tight end from the far side, kind of slipping around on the backside. An accurate pass there is an easy walk-in touchdown.
Right off the hands of Chase DePalma. That brings up 4th and 11. And as predicted, they're not going to try to kick a field goal here. They are going 5 wide. 4 to one side, 1 to the other. It looks like the Shawnee coaches changed the play at the line here based on the how St. Mary's is lined up. And a Roots Pub penalty is going to give St. Mary's an extra 5 yards. Number 64 for Shawnee jumps early. It's one of those where everybody's so tense on a 4th down. What are you expecting to see here, Drew? 4th and 16 now.
Well, I'm not sure that there's a play for 4th and 16 that Shawnee has in their playbook or that they weekly practice. But, just as the games kind of went on, I would expect to kind of keep the ball in Spiker's hands, let him kind of facilitate the play down the field. If you watched any of the film last week, unfortunately for the Rough Riders, that there was multiple times where the Rough Riders had him pinned, and plays were made by the quarterback that were able to extend drives. So,
like to see the 3-down lineman get some pressure. The Riders do bring a DB off the side. Spiker's trying to run for this one, and he's going to be short. Great job by the Riders of stopping Spiker. He gets maybe 10, 12 yards out of it, but he needed 16. Great job by the Riders, and we got to remember, go back to Trey Moore knocking that touchdown out.
Absolutely.
It's,
again, Taylor Compton being able to sell out. You can see him standing there in the middle of the field. He's your quarterback spy. Spiker's an athlete, but so is Taylor Compton. He's able to sell out, make the tackle, keep him short of the 1st down.
We always had coaches say that big players make big plays in big situations. We saw it last week with Dylan Fink. We've seen it so far with Taylor Compton and Trey Moore.
Yep.
Riders have a great opportunity to score here, maybe with 1 minute and 35 seconds left. It'd be interesting to see if they try to hurry up here or if they're content maybe taking this to halftime.
Yeah, both teams still have all 3 timeouts, so Rough Riders do have to be careful to make sure they get that 1st down. Or Shawnee could call a couple timeouts and potentially get it right back. You had mentioned it, that Shawnee's passing defense is not near the top of the league, more towards the middle to the bottom of the pack. So Rough Riders might catch them on one if they're really looking to get aggressive, but it doesn't look like that with the way they're letting the time burn out.
Looks like both teams willing to just let this one go. Riders will try to run it, I assume, a couple times just to see what happens, but 2nd and 6 here for the Riders. 50 seconds counting down here in the 2nd quarter. Little trap to Caleb Schmidt, and here you go.
Now you're in business, Zach. You're at the 40-yard line. You expect the Rough Riders to take a timeout there.
Riders are signaling timeout. Timeout is called on the field. So we've got 43 seconds left. The Riders now in business with a 1st down. They're going to try to march down the field. We're going to take a Miller Funeral Home timeout. We'll be back to see the last 43 seconds right after this.
Hold your horses, literally. Here comes Rocky, trotting in with some big news.
Yeehaw, Rider Nation. The Rider Rooters give back to every Rough Rider sports program.
That's right. Rider Rooters help supply gear, scoreboards, and the extras our athletes need to succeed. So saddle up and purchase your Rider Rooter membership, because here at St. Mary's, Riders ride together.
Thank you for your support. Go Riders!
Let's set things up here. Grand Lake Health Systems Field, 43 seconds left. Riders are up right now 14-13 on the Sean Barnett electrical scoreboard. They just got a big trap run from Caleb Schmidt. Gets, 20, 30 yards out of that, and now they're on the 40-yard line and thinking about maybe trying to get down and score here or get in field goal range.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trap again to Caleb Schmidt. This is usually where they call. Usually you have 2 plays called, but instead Riders calling a 2nd timeout. Riders will have 1 timeout. That's a Miller Funeral Home timeout. They just used 7 seconds, 36 seconds left. We'll take a quick timeout for us. We'll be back.
Are you looking for a fun place to grab a bite to eat and a few drinks? Then stop by Roots Pub on Spring Street in downtown St. Mary's. The kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The food menu still has all the classic favorites, but now also has some tasty new options. Roots Pub always has a game on and has live entertainment every weekend from some of the best bands around. Check out our Facebook page for a full entertainment schedule and daily food specials. Roots Pub, your go-to place for great food, cold drinks, and a fun atmosphere. Are you in the need of storage space? At Spring Street Storage, we have several units to help organize your life. From 10 by 10 to 10 by 30, we have units to keep your valuables dry and clean. We offer monthly rentals and long-term discounts. Give us a call at 567-279-1536 for all your storage needs.
36 seconds left, second quarter. Riders looking to do something here at the end of the half. Fink with a sweep to the outside. He's going to have a first down. Clock will stop while they move the chains. Riders look like they're maybe going to spike it here. Ball is on the 46-yard line of Shawnee. Maybe they're going to not spike it maybe. They're not going to. Meiterding's looking for a pass. Throws it out to Trey Moore and unfortunately just underthrows him.
Yeah, it's probably better not to make that catch. It was going to be short of the sticks. Looked like the ball kind of came out a little flat off of the throw from Meiterding. Still 15 seconds left in the clock here. Roughriders do have the weapon of Brady Triplett. You probably have to realistically get 15 yards to feel comfortable with sending him out there. I would expect them to give it a try if they get another 5 to 10 yards. You still have that one timeout, too, so you can utilize the middle of the field if you need.
Meiterding under center, wide out to both sides, looking to pass again. Quick pass, that's going to be a hook and ladder. Dylan Fink down the sidelines. He's looking to score. He's going to go out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Riders should get 1 second left.
It looks like we're going to have 2 seconds left. You see that exactly drawn up. The Rough Riders go to that quite frequently, that hook and ladder. You see Fink just come out of the backfield like he's just kind of jogging nonchalantly. Good ball by Meiterding, puts it on him accurately, allows that flip to be made. As you can see, Brady Triplett's coming out here to set up for a field goal attempt.
So what happened here is the officials said that his forward progress was stopped in bounds. They did not stop the clock on that, so St. Mary's had to use their final timeout. And you can see St. Mary's sending out their field goal team. So the field goal team was out there ready to go, but officials said we got to give them the full timeout. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, Brady Triplett's going to try to put the Riders up another 3 points here at the end of the second quarter. We'll be back with more right after this.
I'm Larry Gruber, longtime educator and St. Mary's wrestling coach.
If you're in need for any electrical upgrades, whether big or small, for your business or home, reach out to Sean Barnett Electrical at 567-259-8343.
Trying to do electrical work on your own can be shocking and painful. Yow!
Hi, I'm Sean Barnett with Sean Barnett Electrical for your home or your business, and I do support this pinch.
2 seconds left here in the second quarter. Riders get the ball all the way down to the 15-yard line on a hook and ladder play to Dylan Fink that worked beautifully. The ball will be placed on the 22-yard line, so this will be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Brady Triplett. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and kick looks good. Brady Triplett with another clutch field goal for the Riders. That'll be 3 points on the scoreboard. 17-13, the Riders are going to take that into the half. We're going to come back in a second with the Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub halftime show. We're going to have the Guarneri's trivia, Big Ralph Ryder replay, some statistics, and we're going to have Diana Pendleton Dominguez with the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation to talk about some of the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. We'll be back with that and more right after this.
Hey there, Rough Rider Country. If you need a van, truck, car, SUV, motorcycle, camper, boat, or any other form of transportation, come on down to Shaft Auto Sales. I know you got vehicle needs, and I got needs too. I need to know that you got the right kind of truck to get the job done. And I need to know that you got a fun set of wheels to cruise around in. And I need to know that your kids are safe when you take them for a ride.
Thanks, Aaron High, the car guy.
I'm Aaron High, the car guy with Shaft Auto Sales. I sell cars to Roughrider fans, because that's what I am, and that's who I care about.
TSC is bringing fiber optic high-speed internet to your rural community. Power your household with upload and download speeds as high as 1 gigabit. GigaSpire technology provides blazing fast speeds and whole home coverage so you can enjoy an unrivaled online experience. At TSC, we look forward to bringing you hometown local service, saving you money, and welcoming you to the TSC Gigahood.
Hi, I'm Jay Gibson, proud owner of Varsity Lanes since 2003. Visit Varsity Lanes for exceptional fun and mouth-watering food. Opt for our classic ham and cheese or choose from various other delectable options. Every Friday night, join Roughrider fans in the lounge for food, drinks, and St. Mary's football. Can't make it? Takeout and delivery services available. Varsity Lanes is your go-to spot for daily lunch specials and dinner options. Whether you dine in, take out, or opt for delivery, Varsity Lanes, locally owned and operated, and the home of state bowling champions, and where amazing dining meets fun. Tempted? Visit or call us now. Have you made the call yet?
We did.
TSC has streaming television services available in the Gigahood, delivered over our blazing fast fiber internet. Choose TV to fit your family's needs. Enjoy our basic package with all the local channels, or try the extended basic package with sports, news, music, and family entertainment. Download the Your TV Green app and use your Amazon Fire Stick to start watching today. Still need internet? Go to www.telcirco.com and choose the Connect Me button to complete the fiber connection form, and we'll take care of the rest.
Welcome to Ace Cuts Barbershop, a locally owned and family-oriented shop. Our professional team consists of Chase, Scotty, and Jake, and we strive for perfection in every haircut. It's also more than just cutting hair for us. We build great relationships and friendships with everyone that walks through our doors. So come in and see Chase and the crew at 1649 Salina Road, St. Mary's. Let's go Riders!
Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub has partnered with Rider Nation Station this season so that every Friday night, Guarneri's can be Roughrider Central. Guarneri's will be streaming Roughrider football live every Friday night at 7, paired with your favorite Rider aid. Call Guarneri's during or after the game to place your pickup order for pizza, wings, or hoagies at 419-394-2244. Remember, Guarneri's, home of the signature Big Ralph.
Welcome back to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. Zach Farrell, Drew Jacobs for the Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub halftime show. Drew, Riders on the Sean Barnett Electrical scoreboard go up 17-13 right at the end there on a 32-yard field goal from Brady Triplett. What did you think about that last drive?
Yeah, absolutely huge momentum swing there. It does a couple things for the Rough Riders. One, you take points in after preventing points on a drive that showed some promise for Shawnee right there at the end. Two, what it does is if Shawnee does happen to come out and score another touchdown that puts them at 20, it leaves the Rough Riders open to be able to utilize the field goal team again to get even. So, again, that extra point, it may show to be crucial that Shawnee had missed. And hopefully the Rough Riders continue to capitalize. Ideally, the Rough Riders just wouldn't give up any more scores and, just keep them at 13 and do what they want in the second half. From a statistics standpoint, though, I think we'll get to St. Mary's. If you look at the stats alone, St. Mary's time of possession, you'd think that they were dominating this game. 16 total minutes of having the ball to Shawnee's 7. Their average drive starts very similar around the 30-yard line. St. Mary's does have 12 first downs to Shawnee's 9. 198 total yards to Shawnee's 193. Shawnee does have the 99 passing yards, but what did we say? 82 of those came on one passing play to Jaron Bagley, the kind of the broken play. St. Mary's is up to 167 total rushing yards on the night, where Shawnee's at 94. It's taking St. Mary's 31 carries to get there. A little more methodical. Those long, slow drives that really wear on defense where Shawnee's run it 12 times for 94 yards. Penalties are fairly even, 3 for 23 with the Roughriders, 2 for 10 for Shawnee. Big stat here is, again, very similar to last week. St. Mary's is 5 for 7 on third down, able to keep the offense on the field. So
both defenses have got to stop, and we got to see how that works out in the second half.
Absolutely, yeah. Get to some more of the individual stuff. Caleb Schmidt's up to 15 rushes, only 80 yards a night, so a little slower than the 300. But again, he's pushing 100 yards already, and a phenomenal start for him. Luke Rammel's got 8 for 51, and Dylan Fink has 8 for 36. A nice play there at the end by Trey Moore and Dylan Fink to the little hook and ladder for 20 yards, get the Roughriders into field goal position. So we can talk about that a little bit later, how that's set up and the play before, and the use from the Roughrider offensive staff and how. But I think we have a big Roughrider replay to get to at this point.
Sure, let's get this is a Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub halftime show. We want to thank Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub for sponsoring it. Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub, home of the signature Big Ralph sub, pizza, and calzone. Give them a call at 419-394-2244. Now enjoy your Big Ralph Rider replay.
Corey calls the signals. If you're going to get it there, hand the ball to Justin Noggle. Noggle breaks the tackle.
Get
Noggle at the 10, 5. He dives.
Got it, touchdown!
Justin Noggle takes it to the end zone from 35 out.
Corey Vossler and Justin Noggle, some great teammates of mine. That was either 03 or 04, probably 04. But I know that Justin Noggle's always watching the game from Georgia, so I hope he was able to catch that. And Corey watching the game a lot from Minster, so appreciate both of those guys. And that was a great replay for me personally, because I think I might have been on the field during that. We also have the Guarneri's trivia question. This is week 8 for the halftime trivia. I'm going to give this out. We'll give it out a couple more times probably, the question, and put your answers in the comments or on the Facebook post, and we'll put them all in the hat, and we'll see who the winner is. So your week 8 trivia. What former Roughrider was named first team all junior college while playing for Waldorf College in Iowa? Again, your trivia question. What former Roughrider was named first team all junior college while playing for Waldorf College in Iowa? That's the trivia question this week. Hopefully we'll have lots of guesses in the comments. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to have Diana Pendleton Dominguez with the Alumni Foundation talking a little bit more about the Hall of Fame tonight and the other great work that they do. We'll be back with the Guarneri's Pub and Pizzeria halftime show right after this.
The St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation is proud to support St. Mary's athletics. We invite you to become a member of the Alumni Foundation by checking out our website at www.mhsaf.com or checking us out on Facebook. Good luck, Riders.
Auglaize Equipment Rental is your source for all your equipment needs. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner with a project, we can help get the job done more efficiently. Check us out at 1900 Salina Road or AuglaizeEquipmentRental.com or just call 419-394-7883. Auglaize Equipment Rental.
Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Spece. Welcome to Spece Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
As a family practice, Spece Chiropractic welcomes in patients of all ages. Whether this is your first time or you've done this before, Dr. Spece and his compassionate staff are here for you. What makes Spece Chiropractic unique is their 3-tier approach. By using chiropractic care alongside massage therapy and physical therapy, all your health care needs will be treated compassionately and comprehensively. Spece Chiropractic. Make the right choice for your care.
The importance of quality driver's education for our teens is essential. Capabilities has provided classroom and in-car driving instruction for St. Mary's and surrounding communities for over 20 years. Live classroom and online options are available for our students. Capabilities also administers the Ohio BMV driver's exam for our students and the general public. Contact Capabilities today to learn more about our driver's education services.
Calling all riders. Salina Cycle Center has all of your motorcycle, dirt bike, ATV, and e-bike needs. Need tires, parts, cleaning supplies, and riding apparel? Salina Cycle Center has you covered. If your bike needs tuned up or accessorized, mechanic and owner Aaron Schmidt will have you back on the road or trails. Stop in and see us at 6869 US Route 33 or check out our Facebook page at Salina Cycle Center. Let's ride!
Welcome back to Grand Lake Health Systems Field. This is the Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub halftime show on Rider Nation Station. If you're just joining us, the Riders are up at halftime 17-13 over the Shawnee Indians, and capped off by a 32-yard field goal from Brady Triplett at the end of the half. I'm Zach Farrell. Joining me, though, right now is the president of the St. Mary's Memorial High School Alumni Foundation, Diana Pendleton Dominguez. Diana, thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking.
Diana, tonight is such a special night for the St. Mary's community, for the school, for Roughriders across the nation. It's the Hall of Fame night. It's become right up there with homecoming as, you know, the two favorite nights of the football year for us. I guess maybe we'll talk a little bit first about where this started and how it's grown over the years.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame, the Alumni Foundation started back in 2006 and went for a couple years, and then for some unknown reason, they had a temporary reprieve where it didn't operate, and we decided to bring it back in 2019. And one of the main things we brought it back for was to promote our Hall of Fame and our wonderful, incredible alumni. And as you can see from just looking at some of the biographies of the people tonight, we have riders who go out into the world and accomplish amazing things. They do things that are one of a kind, such as Laverne Pax. I always like to talk about him because he literally made history in a way that nobody else in the world can. He was the very last honor guard to stand watch over the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for the World War I soldier, and the very first honor guard to stand watch over the tomb of all three soldiers, World War I, World War II, and Korea. And I think it's a pretty special honor that someone from St. Mary's went out and accomplished that.
Yeah, I remember learning that, you know, his being on that unit, receiving that medal was like the second hardest medal to receive as a soldier.
Right.
80% of the people who tried for that position got washed out. He was able to make it, and not only make it, but when he was there, he was voted by his peers to be the one that was able to stand with Dwight Eisenhower for that ceremony.
Yeah.
So that was Laverne Pax. He was a 1953 graduate of St. Mary's Memorial High School.
And another interesting picture that we showed in his video tonight, he was also there at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier on guard when Queen Elizabeth, a very young Queen Elizabeth, visited. And there's a picture of them together at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Literally a St. Mary's graduate right in the middle of history.
Yeah, standing beside a queen and a president.
It's just incredible when you think about it. We think of ourselves as being such a small area of the country, but we really have far-reaching situations, far-reaching graduates that put themselves in important and historical situations.
Yeah, an amazing accomplishment, and we're very proud to induct him into our Hall of Fame tonight.
So just to go over again, there's different areas that people are inducted. There's academic professional achievement, athletic achievement, service to St. Mary's City Schools, and then military service to country. I know the military service to country is near and dear to your heart.
It is.
You've for many years led the project with your daughter to get the banners up on all of the light poles in town.
Yeah.
You've helped form the Veterans Foundation Museum of St. Mary's and St. Mary's that we're trying to get started in the city building.
Yeah.
And so I think you were instrumental in also getting that military service to country added to the Hall of Fame. Is that right?
That's right. That was one of my ideas, and it was because we were doing the banner project with my daughter, who was doing it for a gold award. It's actually one of the categories I'm very proud of because St. Mary's is unique in having this category. Most schools do not, and I think it says so much about our school that we honor our veterans. We honor those who served.
And every time that we've talked about it, I'm blown away by the different stories that come out. I talked a little bit on the air earlier about Colonel Richard Bushong.
Yeah.
Am I right that we kind of found him by accident, found his story by accident, and then located him kind of as a surprise, right?
We did. We were researching for the book that we've just published called Hometown Heroes, and it features 33 veterans. And I was actually researching online. The St. Mary's has now digitized the evening leaders, and adjacent to the article I was reading was this other headline about a veteran who had just won the Distinguished Flying Cross. And I started reading about him, decided to research him a little bit, and I kept finding things that even though he was in World War II, I would see references he was in Vietnam, and then I found him in the 90s. And the more I searched, the more I couldn't find any evidence that he passed away or anything. And I found a recent article that was just a couple years old that he had volunteered at the 390th Memorial Museum in Arizona. So I called them. I just picked up the phone and called them and said, hey, I see Richard Bushong volunteers at your museum. Can you tell me anything about him? Do you know where he's at? And the gentleman that answered the phone said, well, actually, he's standing right next to me.
Wow.
And that's how we found him. We found him just weeks before he turned 102 years old. And we were fortunate enough that Doug Spencer from Rider Nation Station and Kim Ryer flew down to Arizona to celebrate his 102nd birthday. And we inducted him actually into our Hall of Fame at that time. The formal ceremony was tonight. But just an incredible story, 102-year-old World War II veteran.
And he's written a book, My Wars, B-17s to F-4s, World War II to Vietnam, served in all of those wars.
Yeah, he served in all of them. And the book is just a delightful read. He has actually autographed, several dozen copies for us, and we have them for people if they'd like to purchase a copy. But you get Richard Bushong's autograph with the notation 102 years old on it.
That's a 1941 graduate of St. Mary's Memorial High School that is still alive in Arizona. If anyone's out there at the museum, they can probably visit him sometime.
In fact, he says he gets St. Mary's residents there all the time.
That's amazing. Incredible story. Let's not forget about Staff Sergeant Frank Eberly, just someone who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country and for our community.
Yeah, very sad story. Died just before the Battle of Bulge in Germany, in the Belgian area. Very sad story. He had a small 1- 2-year-old daughter who was here tonight. We actually got to meet her. And she actually told us afterwards how impressed she was with the video and the story that we showed, because she was a young infant, didn't remember her dad. But, her family had shared all the letters that he had written home, and it was just a story that pulls at your heartstrings.
And he was a 1940 graduate of St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, was killed while on patrol, like you said, just before the Battle of the Bulge. It's just a crazy, you hear about the Battle of the Bulge, and you don't think that we, as St. Mary's, had such a local connection to something like that. But that's what those veterans and that's what people who sacrificed it all and died for our country, they were just everyday people from small towns across America.
And our Hall of Fame recognizes that. You can have people like Laverne Pax who, one-of-a-kind event in history, but he's on equal footing in our view as Sergeant Eberly, who laid down his life for his country.
We've talked a lot about Gene Dennis this year, First Lieutenant Gene Dennis, shot down over North Korea, around Pyongyang area. His remains, we believe, the family believes they know where they're located. It's just a matter of getting the government involved enough to get those remains back to St. Mary's. We have tables set up at every home football game. There's been petitions that have been passed around. We'd like to get the attention of the Congress and the President potentially to try to get those remains home.
Absolutely, and if you don't come to a football game to sign the petition, stop in at the new City Building or Minster Bank, VFW, American Legion. They all have petitions. We would love your support to bring Gene Dennis home.
I want to talk a little bit about the service to St. Mary's School. Al Meinerding, just a legend. Everybody's favorite teacher when they had him in junior high. I didn't realize until I watched the film tonight, started the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. I just thought that was something that all the schools did. I didn't know that there was a person who said, no, we need kids to learn about Washington, D.C. enough that I'm going to make sure that this happens, and got that started permanently in the 90s. I didn't realize it was that late, too. What a gift that he gave to the students and to the future students, right?
Yeah, and he was a very popular teacher. We had dozens of former students writing to us telling us he needs to be in your Hall of Fame. He literally was our favorite teacher. He's taught us so many life lessons. His partner in crime, fellow McBroom teacher, Sue Thompson, they served together.
Sue Thompson, another inductee, just inspiration, I think, is the biggest thing that I think when I think of her. For me, having a mother in a wheelchair and seeing that, people like Sue Thompson paved the way for her to say that we're not going to let the disability get in the way of us leading a very normal and very a life where you can excel.
Yeah.
Not only just live and just get by, but you can excel as a teacher. She founded the Women's Hall of Fame for the state of Ohio. She founded, it seems like, countless organizations, different disability awareness organizations. She tried to help people get jobs. She kind of was basically advocating for the Americans with Disabilities Act before that was a thing.
She absolutely did. She broke through so many glass ceilings. She was instrumental in getting wheelchair accessible curbs built in St. Mary's back in the 60s. She advocated for rest areas that were wheelchair accessible. She advocated so that buildings would have doors wide enough to allow a wheelchair through. There's so many things that she advanced over and above her teaching career that are just amazing that she did this.
They also shared a story tonight about how when she went to Memorial High School, there was no elevator, there was no chairlift. So her fellow students, the boys, would carry her chair for her and carry her up and down the stairs to her classrooms.
Literally carried her chair for her, and that was the only reason she was able to attend high school.
On one hand, it's sad that that's the way that it was back then. On the other hand, what an amazing story about the generosity and the caring, kind nature of St. Mary's students at that time.
It speaks very well of our students.
Let's not forget about the final two, athletic achievement, Ted Liette.
Yeah.
Just an absolute football legend in St. Mary's. Went to Indianapolis.
University of Indianapolis.
Yeah, and was an All-American there.
Yeah, a 4-year starter and was elected into their Hall of Fame for college as well.
When I was coming through school in 2005, he had been there, 10 years ago, and it was just like, oh, Ted Liette's walking around today. He's near the practice. He was just an absolute legend. Any of the Liette names, to be honest.
Yeah, his brothers were also on state championship teams. So the whole family has each brother has at least one state championship.
And so dedicated that he tonight was able to come to the early induction ceremony, but was not able to be on the field because he's an assistant coach in Minster right now, and they're playing in Versailles.
Yes.
So leading on the field as well. We talked a lot about Bob Priddy and how Bob Priddy was his hero, basically.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about Barb Poppy. Academic and professional achievement. Barb Poppy was a 1977 graduate of Memorial High School. Son of John Poppy, daughter of John Poppy.
Yeah.
I knew John a lot through practicing law, just an amazing attorney. But Barb just did an unbelievable amount of good through the government and through homeless
She was a tireless advocate on behalf of the rights of the homeless and felt very strongly that every person in this country of abundance should have a home. And she was inspired that because she was attending medical school, and so she looked at homelessness through the scientific and medical background and said, how can we address this issue from that perspective? And her efforts were recognized at the federal level when President Barack Obama's administration asked her to be part of it. So it's quite an accomplishment for her.
Barb Poppy, an amazing inductee for the Hall of Fame, able to, as you said, get named to that by President Obama. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Diana. We got fireworks going on the field as well, so it's not only a Hall of Fame game for the Alumni Association, it's turning into a Hall of Fame game on the field, it looks like.
Good luck, Riders.
Thank you, Diana.
All right, thank you.
Well, as I said, back in action, the Roughriders start with an onside kick to start the second half there. I apologize. Wanted to make sure, though, that we honored every single one of the Hall of Fame inductees tonight. in the Guarneri's Pizzeria Pub halftime show. Riders get the quick onside kick. You were able to see that on the TV. Drew Jacobs is back here. Drew, what a way to start. What a second way to start. Luke Campbell right off the bat. Running down the field so close. Falls in the end zone. That should be a touchdown. It is.
What a start by the Roughriders. You cannot ask for a better start. You want to talk about swing momentum, continuing to utilize it. We talked about it. Shawnee was flowing with the defense. They were flowing with the fakes. They bring that counter back around. Luke's able to show off some speed, get into the end zone on the first play from scrimmage. What a start for the Roughriders. That puts Luke Ramble at 99 on the night, a touchdown. I believe that is his career high that he is currently achieved just to start the third quarter here.
Two quick highlights that will be on the St. Mary's Foundry highlight reel. That's a Salina Cycle Center touchdown. On the extra point, though, we have a Roots Pub penalty. I think they're going to say St. Mary's, one of the guys maybe flinched a little bit because they're pushing them back.
Yeah, it looks like the right side maybe moved a little bit early.
So a little bit harder for Brady Triplett, but we just saw him hit a 32-yarder, so should be okay with the 25-yarder, we hope. Extra point is up. Looks good. That'll be an extra point. That's the Salina Eagle Loan Company extra point. And just like that, the Riders are up 24-13 on the Shawnee Indians. We'll be back with more right after this.
Dr. Compton has been delivering quality chiropractic care for nearly 20 years. He's committed to helping you find relief as quick as possible so there's no lengthy care plans. At Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, most insurances are accepted and walk-ins are always welcome. Conveniently located in downtown St. Mary. To learn more, visit us online at smpainrelief.com and follow us on social media.
It's the name that you want to remember. Neck and Back Pain Relief Center.
Go see Eagle Loan Company in Salina when you need a little extra. Loans made easy, payments made affordable, loans subject to credit approval. Conditions apply.
Let's watch a replay of that onside kick that we missed because I was still talking to Diana about the inductees. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to have a replay right now. I apologize. The truck was hoping for another onside kick.
What a start for the Roughriders.
Absolutely. Brady Triplett, not only can he put it through the back of the end zone, he can deliver a nice onside kick. He's been working on that. We saw them use that in a couple games. Brady Triplett's fired up, but he does not have the leg to put that one in the end zone. That is taken by 11 at the 9-yard line, and he's a dangerous returner.
Going to be good starting field position for the Shawnee Indians just across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's Jaron Bagley for the Indians. That's who scored their long touchdown earlier. He is, I believe, leading the WBL in returns this year. And you can see why. He's got a lot of length and speed there. Well, if you're Shawnee, you got to try to shake that off and try to get something on the board here. But the Rough Rider defense can hopefully ride some of that momentum here.
Absolutely. The Riders are flying high right now with the start to that half and the end of the first. You have to expect Shawnee's going to look to try to score quick and early and often.
5 in motion. They hand it off to him. He is in around the outside. He's got a lot of space. He runs through a tackle, and he's taken down at the Rough Rider 40-yard line. That's Colton Hobson. There looks like a flag coming in, though, and that's coming back. Roots Pub penalty on the play.
I think we might have a flag on the Rough Riders.
I thought they were pulling Shawnee back, so I thought maybe it was on them, but
yeah, it looks like there was some action after the play had ended.
Some extracurriculars. Unable to see on the replay exactly down there, but something happened after the play, and that's just a deeper hole that you just dug yourself for the Riders. Shawnee's going to have the ball now on the 25-yard line.
Up in that wing strong formation. A little bit of motion here.
Spiker with the snap. hands the ball off. We do have a flag, Roots Pub penalty on the play. I think that was that Wells again?
No, I believe that might have been Meeks.
Or Meeks, yep, Meeks. So Meeks with a carry.
Looking here, it looks like we're going to probably have a hold there on the Shawnee Indians.
Foul on a defense, number 51. 15-yard penalty.
Have another 15 yards there given up by the Roughriders. 2 large penalties worth 30 yards. Had an illegal hands to the face call there, number 51 for the Roughriders.
Let's watch the replay again. 51, Cole Mullins.
Hard to tell there in the action.
Not really sure what they're calling.
I think it might have been early off the initial.
So excellent opportunity for Shawnee now, down to the 17-yard line. First down, knocking on the end zone of the Riders. Spiker has 5 wide, 3 to his left, 2 to the right. Gets the snap. It's going to try to run it. He's got some space, breaks a tackle, and gets all the way down, diving into the 5-yard line. Going to be around the 4-yard line.
You see the Rough Rider defensive line diagnosed it quick with the, a lot of times that draw what you'll see is the fan out by the offensive line and almost allow them to go upfield. But again, Spiker's just a good enough athlete. They weren't able to run him down. He's still able to turn it into a positive gain.
Second down and 2. Shawnee able to get a first down here. Meeks with the ball driving forward. He's going to have a first down. He's going to have first and goal from the 1-yard line.
You see him get under center there out of the I formation.
First time we've seen that tonight for Shawnee.
Yep.
Meeks, he's getting hit a lot in the backfield, but he is just so strong. He is just pulling guys.
Yeah, 6'2", 215 pounds. It's not easy to tackle, especially keeping him from going forward here. So
I think Riders sent in so they could have 4 down linemen. Shawnee will probably try to run it out of the shotgun here. First and goal. Spiker leans forward. I don't think he got to the goal line, though. They're going to say he is short. And Riders come out with the ball. Owen Ott. Owen Ott wants there to be a fumble, and the Rider players want a personal foul called on that tackle after the.
Yeah, interesting that you don't see any yellow flags fly there. There's definitely quite a bit of extra contact going on there, maybe a little bit by both sides, but the refs decided to keep it in their pocket on that one.
So you can see Spiker there held up. Somehow the ball comes out. Owen Ott comes out of there. Well, his knee was down anyway if he was trying to run it back, but there is a injured Shawnee player on the field. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the Shawnee Indians will have it second and goal on the 1-yard line. We'll be back right after this.
St. Mary's Eagles 767 is dedicated to promoting the general welfare of the citizens of St. Mary's by giving special attention to public improvements. They are also committed to helping meet the public needs and all that relates to the betterment, convenience, and comforts of the citizens of St. Mary's. For more information on how you can become a member, call 419-394-3257 or stop in during business hours at 404 East Spring Street in St. Mary's. St. Mary's Eagles, 767. People helping people.
Back at Grand Lake Health Systems Field, second and goal from the 1-yard line for the Shawnee Indians. Down right now, 24-13. Looking at trying to get a big touchdown here. We have an official timeout now on the field.
Something here to point out, that player that was down on the field was Spiker, the starting quarterback for the Shawnee Indians. So you see number 19 has entered the game. Brogan Rayer, he's a sophomore, 6'2", 270 pounds.
Would expect Meeks to get the ball And he does. Number 0 is in for a touchdown.
Isaac Meeks, ball carrier, was all the plays. The Indians touchdown.
Isaac Meeks just too big, too strong to get stopped at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great weapon to have if Spiker is out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here what the Indians decide to do. You know, at halftime they were down there working on their extra points, and their kicker continued to miss field goal or extra points or extra point length. So it looks like they are deciding to keep the offense on the field here. Spiker has re-entered the game, so their full arsenal is back. Big stop chance here for the Roughriders.
2-point conversion attempt for Shawnee. Spiker just trying to run it to the outside, trying to find the pylon, and he's able to slide in for the 2-point conversion. And just like that, the Shawnee Indians are just down by 3 points, 24-21 to the Riders on the Sean Barnett Electrical scoreboard. 9 minutes and 2 seconds left in the third period. When we come back, we'll see if the Riders can answer. We'll be back right after this.
In need of a marketing idea for your business or organization? From concept to execution, we are your go-to for promotional products, signage, apparel, print materials, graphic design, and fundraising. Freedom Marketing Strategies is a Roughrider-owned business with over 50 years of marketing, graphic design, and fundraising support. Call Sissy or Gail today to get started.
Plus One Professionals Real Estate. We're dedicated to making your move smooth and stress-free with our Plus One perks and free use of our moving truck. Plus One Realty, where our agents always go the extra step. Plus One.
Rider Nation Station here. Shawnee gets a score. Riders still lead it, though, 24-21 in the third quarter. This kickoff is brought to you by Varsity Lanes, home of the bowling champions.
It'd be interesting here, Zach, what Shawnee does, pulls out of their playbook. The Rough Rider got an onside kick. You know, Shawnee hasn't shown to be able to stop the Rough Riders. So
Jemai has another squib kick that bounces off a player, picked up by Trey Moore. He crosses direction across field and just goes backwards and gets tackled. Well, you like Trey Moore to try to make a big play, but Shawnee has too much speed to try to get that done.
Yeah, you kind of have to cut your losses there and know the personnel that you're playing against. You really like to see him just, after multiple kicking it around, you just like to see him get as many yards as you can and set the offense up, with a little better field position. But nonetheless, the Rough Riders have the ball inside the 20-yard line and can hopefully put a drive together that gains a little bit of that momentum back.
Riders need to have good ball security, hang on to the ball. And they come out full house backfield, handoff to Schmidt, and he gets a couple yards around the outside. Actually, they're going to give it even further than I thought, so that's going to be about a 2nd and 4 there. Nice pickup for the Rough Riders.
From the Rider 22-yard line.
We'll call it 5 yards, so 2nd and 5.
Yeah, the Rough Riders have had some success, continue to have success out of the full house backfield, so they continue to come out with it. Obviously, the first play that they ran was that counter, so they go back to what had worked for them in the first half.
Wing T formation this time. Handoff to Schmidt up the middle. He falls forward very close to a Fowler TV first down. They're going to give it to him. That'll reset the chains for the Riders.
Again, I don't think we can emphasize enough that bear crawl shootout is just not an easy thing for the Rough Riders, and I'm sure you experienced firsthand, Zach, playing the position, but the toughness that Xander Post continues to show, he's kind of got undercut, he got his knee rolled up on, he continues to go up over the ball, snap the Adrian Minor ding, and get this offense rolling. So.
Yeah, Xander Post, Savion Murphy, and Cooper Glass doing a great job of eating that up underneath. Luke Rammel works his way to the left side on a sweep, gets a few yards out of that.
It does put Luke up over 100 yards on the game.
Definitely his biggest game of the season.
And conversing with his father during halftime, I knew he had one against Bath. I knew he'd got close to 100 yards, but that puts him at 10 carries for 101 for this one. So Good night for Luke thus far. Had the big one for the touchdown to start the half. Just hopefully keep building on that and able to keep legs fresh with Caleb Schmidt as the game goes on.
2nd and 8 for the Riders at the 30-yard line. Monitoring quick trap from Schmidt.
Caleb Schmidt, the ball carrier.
Nice pickup for Caleb Schmidt on 2nd down. Brings up a very manageable 3rd and 4 for the Riders, and they continue to march against the Shawnee defense.
Yeah, as to kind of build off those bear crawlings that you see, it's great if it works, but when it doesn't, you've essentially taken 4 guys out of the play on your defense, and it makes you quite vulnerable on the trap plays that hit quick, and if the linebacker doesn't have his head on the swivel and isn't able to get over the block with the tackle coming down, that's when you see those pop for big runs.
Full house backfield. Meiterding takes the snap from post. Quick trap there. Is that Caleb Schmidt again? It is.
Yep, got a great look at it. You can see him a yard deeper than the first down marker. Officials move it, and we have a Fowler's TV first down here. The Rough Riders kind of getting into a groove and able to continue to move sticks.
And eat up the clock. Definitely want to keep Shawnee's offense off the field. Clock is ticking down, almost close to 6 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. And the Riders just methodically marching down the field here. Full house backfield again. Fink with a little inside sweep. Let's call that 26-27.
Yep, wisely turns it up. Shawnee's going to force it to, with the success that the Rough Riders have had, they're obviously going to want to try to force that to turn up inside where they have got more guys coming, the cavalry. I think as you kind of watch the Shawnee defense, and St. Mary's is continuing to kind of have their way at the start of the second half, do realize that Shawnee has quite a few of their skill guys that play both ways. So, Meeks is out there, Spiker's out there, a couple of their wingbacks are out there. So those guys are all getting worn down. These are a lot of plays they're taking in on the defensive side of the ball.
Snap from post, counter play to Fink. There's a big hole there for Fink. Makes a move, hold on to the ball, Dylan. Does a great job on that tackle. Great run from Dylan Fink. Everybody helping out on the offense today for the Riders.
Yep. You see the tackle pull, guard pull. What you see out of that is there's a great down block there from the backside tackle that ends up turning into the front side tackle, and Fink's able to read the butts of the blockers and turn it up, make a move, and extend that. Pick up an extra few yards after the run.
That's what the counter is supposed to look like. We've seen it unsuccessful earlier in the season. Tonight it's been very successful for the Riders. Meiterding with 2 split backs, hands it off to Luke Rammel. Tries to run that sweep again to the outside that I think his big play was on earlier in the game. That time it was better defended from Shawnee. He's going to be taken down after a couple yards at the 43-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and 8 for the Riders.
Yeah, I think when you look at the play, it looked like, and I'm sure Luke had the same mindset of, it looked like it was going to be there. They were trying to turn it back in, but that hole kind of squeezed quickly, so he just kind of had to take what he could get and move on to the next.
Drive continues to eat up clock. Down now close to 4 minutes. Quick trap play. Caleb Schmidt close to a Fowler TV first down. They're going to give it to him.
Again, just the wear and tear that you're going to see from this Rough Rider offense. The Rough Riders don't have a lot of guys that play both ways, especially in the trenches. So it's important to note that they're much more fresh than who they're playing against, and as you continue to wear on them, those runs are just going to get longer and longer. It does put Caleb Schmidt. He did eclipse 100 yards on that run, so the Rough Riders are now up to 2 running backs, Schmidt and Rammel, both over 100 yards. That was Caleb Schmidt's 20th carry of the night. So
last week, the Wapak Redskins and Shawnee Indians were very close in the first half, and Wapak pulled away, winning 42-14. Interesting to see if St. Mary's is able to do that tonight. So far, Shawnee was able to march down on offense, but that was egged on by 3 huge penalties.
Right, absolutely. You'd like to see the St. Mary's defense come out a little stronger than that, but offense is quickly regaining the momentum and kind of taking the wind out of the sails. So,
well, huge job, huge play call from head coach Bo Fry, who also is the special teams coordinator, calling for that onside kick, able to switch the field and score quickly and put the Riders, on the right side of the exchange back and forth if it does continue to be a shootout. Meinerding hands the ball off to Fink. Not a lot of room for Fink to go, but he does get a couple yards. It's always nice when we get at this point in the game and the runs don't look like they're long, but then they end up being 2 or 3 yards. That you just know that the offensive line is just pushing people so far that it looks like they're not going anywhere, but the pile that they created is actually 2 or 3 yards down the field.
Right, absolutely. Anytime you see the surge that you're like, oh no, I don't know how much Fink picked up there, and the surge is actually 2.5 yards down the field. That's a much needed win for the Rough Riders.
Big third down for the Riders here. Full house backfield. They go with the long count. Caleb Schmidt off the tackle. They definitely were keying on that, had a lot of defenders, but Caleb Schmidt ran through them, and he's going to get a Fowler's TV first down.
Yep, big first down there at the point of contact. Caleb Schmidt was able to keep running his feet, kind of lunge forward for that last half yard there. Able to move the sticks for a Fowler's TV first down.
Riders sitting on the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Only 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Just absolutely eating up the clock here. Crowd is excited, palpable underneath me here on the home stands. I believe that was Luke Rammel again on the sweep.
Yep.
A few yards, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right?
Exactly what you need, especially once you get to this point in the field. You can likely anticipate the Rough Riders are once again into 4-down territory.
Absolutely. Riders trying to get into that Dr. Mike Compton Neck and Back Pain Relief Center red zone, just 3 yards away. So far tonight, they've had both. They've had big plays that they've run right through it, and then they've had some good drives where they had to get through it. Schmidt with a little hop over the pile there, gets another couple yards, but that's going to bring up a tough 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 here. Would have liked it for him to get a little bit more on that second down.
Yeah, I think this kind of what they do on this play is going to determine if they're going to keep the offense out there. Obviously, you can pick a couple up here. I would assume the offense is going to stay out there, but anything less than that, you may not see it be a 4-down territory.
Especially when you got the leg of Brady Triplett behind you. Wing T formation, wing back to the right side. It's going to be a counter play to Luke Rammel, and unfortunately he gets stopped right at the line. Coaches were hoping that he was going to bounce that out to outside a little bit more. There was some space to the outside here. Watch this on the replay.
Yeah, it's a tough read with the number 7 for the Indians kind of flying upfield late. But we are going to see a decision have to be made here by Coach Bo Fry as we take a Miller Funeral Home timeout.
Yeah, it's end of the quarter for the teams. The Miller Funeral Home timeout. For us, we'll be back right after this.
St. Mary's traditions include football, SMAB, and Fowler's TV. Founded in 1957 by Richard and Peggy, Fowler's TV is celebrated, like a Rough Rider first down, for its dedication to high-quality electronics, custom installations of indoor and outdoor TVs, Sonos sound systems, surveillance systems, and so much more. With 12 months of special financing available on approved credit, shopping local has never been better. Fowler's knowledgeable and friendly staff uphold the tradition of exceptional customer care, servicing only what they sell with the same or next day service.
Grand Lake Health Systems Field, Zach Farrell, Drew Jacobs. Drew, that was a quick third quarter, and somehow we're already in the fourth quarter of this game. The Riders are knocking on the Dr. Mike Compton Back and Pain Relief Center red zone, and they have a huge 4th down here, though. 4th and 6. Not sure if they're going to – it looks like the offense is – no, actually, yeah, offense is on the field, so they are going to go for it here. And this could really make the game right here, win or lose for the Riders.
Might see a little trickery from the Rough Riders.
Wing T formation. Halfback pass. And they throw it back to Minerding, and the pass from Dylan Fink went over the head of Minerding.
Dylan Fink's pass falls incomplete. Intended for number 17, Aiden
Shawnee was definitely looking for some sort of trickery or pass play. Not a bad play call. You know, Minerding was one-on-one. He's got some height, but if you're got to give him a chance to catch it.
You have to keep that ball in bounds. That drive was a 15-play drive at the Rough Riders and went 62 yards. You hate that not to score points. So need the Rough Rider defense to show a little more resistance than they did to start the half, kind of clean up the penalties and the things that kind of helped march Shawnee down to their first possession of the second half.
Any idea how much time that drive took?
That
Spiker with the snap on the first down, he looking to run it. He gets 5 or 6 yards on first down to the left side.
That drive was pushing 10 minutes. The Rough Riders currently have 26 minutes worth of the time of possession, so the Shawnee's 10.
So that drive ate up a lot of clock, but not able to result in any points for the Riders. Tough 4th down and 6 call there. And Shawnee is driving on the Rough Rider defense. Shawnee down 3 points, so if they score, Riders go down 4.
Oh, ball's down.
Ball's loose. Riders say they got it. Officials say that Shawnee got it back, but that does bring up an ace cuts money down. That looked like Meeks didn't have the ball ever.
Yeah, looks
handoff
like
was immediately bobbled.
A very fortunate bounce for the Shawnee Indians there. It kind of popped straight up in the air and then bounced right to the one of the receivers that was able to bail out that muffed handoff.
3rd down and 5 here in this early series for Shawnee. Spiker throws a quick pass out to Jaron Bagley, and that one was pretty easy for them.
Yeah, that's what speed does of Shawnee. Unfortunately, we talked about it. You can't give up the big one. You have to respect it. That's essentially, you hate to see that with 3rd down and 5. You'd love to play the sticks, but again, it's live to see another down and hopefully tackle and put them in a little worse field position than the next set of sticks.
Shawnee able to reset the first down. Quick handoff to number 5, Colton Hobson. And he gets a couple yards, but a good job for St. Mary's tackling on that side of the field. Good job, I think, Taylor Compton and Cole Mullins and others down there able to follow him down the line.
It looks like initially they were going to spot Shawnee a couple yards shorter, but the refs has now walked that up to where they think that he had advanced the ball too.
A little bit better run than we thought, so that'll bring up 2nd and 7 for Shawnee. Spiker and Meeks in the backfield. Spiker looking for a quick pass, screen pass, and his receiver just drops it. Fortunately for the Riders, Reese Davidson unable to come up with that catch because it looked like he had some space to run.
Yeah, that's our leading receiver, and he essentially just forgot the ball when he was looking to make a move.
That brings up a huge 3rd down for the Riders here, and Ace cuts money down for the defense.
I think it is something to note that Spiker has only completed 4 balls tonight. So
Shawnee 2 for 3 tonight on 3rd downs. Spiker with 5 receivers, throwing a little screen pass to Bagley. He's got the first down, unfortunately. But we saw this play a lot last week from Van Wert. A little jailbreak screen there from Bagley. Great job by Taylor Compton, though, of coming over and making that tackle because Bagley was close to taking that to the house
again.
again.
I think he likely saved a house call there. Taylor Compton being able to get down the line of scrimmage to make the tackle for just a 7-yard gain.
So good call from the Shawnee coaches. Good execution from Spiker and Bagley. Shawnee has another first down. They go to Meeks, and he goes nowhere. Rider defense staying tough. getting a tackle for loss on Isaac Meeks.
Yeah, you see two offensive linemen from Shawnee both end up laying on their backs after the name just slipped my mind.
Zach Myers came in there 0.
Yeah, and Cole Mullins was able to shake his offensive line off and meet the running back in the backfield. So
great job from Cole Mullins and Zach Myers getting in there and disrupting that. That'll bring up 2nd and 11 for Shawnee. They have 5 wideouts again. Zach Myers, unfortunately, offsides there. We could see him sort of jumping around, faking the, trying to fake right here at the bottom of your screen, trying to fake a blitz, but he jumps back out, and when he jumps back out, he doesn't realize that where he's playing off of that guy is across the line of scrimmage. That gives them some of that lost yardage back.
Yeah, those are the kind of the penalties that just drive you nuts. You cannot make those in a tight game like this.
So Shawnee Indians helped out by that penalty, Roots Pub penalty. 2nd and 6. Spiker going to take it on a draw up the left side. He's got space, breaks the tackle. He goes down the field, one man to beat, pulls out of that tackle and gets knocked out of bounds finally at the end there, but not before picking up a ton of yards and inside the 5-yard line. Shawnee looking to score.
See on this replay, it looks like Shawnee was maybe holding on a little bit excessively.
Yeah, 11 on 11 there, definitely being held, or 11 on 1 there probably. John Young's. Nope, on 0, Zach Myers. Big hold there, not called down the field. That's a little disappointing, but nonetheless, Shawnee in business. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Spiker hands the ball off to Meeks, and he's got tons of space up the middle. Riders just out of position, not able to stop him there. Riders do have 7 minutes and 30 seconds left here, but they find themselves down for the first time today.
Yeah, you hate to lose that momentum, but again, we were kind of talking about it at halftime. This Roughrider team, I think earlier in the season, this might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, but in recent weeks when things haven't gone their way, they've been able to punch back, and it is encouraging.
That was a huge Eagle Loan Company extra point right there, because that put Shawnee up 4 points. We know obviously Brady Triplett can make a long field goal, so that means the Riders definitely need a touchdown now on this drive, right?
Yep. Picture perfect. What you would like is a nice 7-minute and 15-second drive to score for the Rough Riders.
At least for the Riders, this one is in their hands. They're able to march down here after the score, after the Varsity Lanes kickoff. And we're going to stay right here because we're going to read the answer to the halftime trivia question. Just to remind everybody, what former Rough Rider was named first team all-junior college while playing for Waldorf College in Iowa? And I want to congratulate Ned Howe with the correct answer, who knew that was Dave Liette. So Dave Liette, father of the Hall of Fame inductee tonight, Ted Liette, one of the headhunters for Waldorf College. Congratulations to Ned Lowe for knowing that. You can pick up your free pizza at Laura Yelton State Farm during regular business hours this week. Congratulations to everybody who had the correct answer of David Liette on that. Now let's see if the Riders can get this done here. This kickoff is brought to you by Varsity Lanes in St. Mary's. Squib kick again, and that one goes out of bounds. Riders will have the Roots Pub penalty and be able to take the ball, I believe, on the 40-yard line.
Yeah, big break for the Roughriders there. They hadn't had great starting field position to get this thing going in the second half. But again, you're going to see some much better starting field position. Looks like they're walking to the 35 and hopefully get a little bit positive momentum, get rolling again on offense.
Well, let's set it up. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left. Riders down by 4. They need ball security at this point. They need every down to count. On one hand, you think that you don't necessarily want them to score quick, but on the other hand, you got to take the score when you get it right here down and hope your defense can get a stop. Let's take the ball on the 35-yard line. I apologize. Good field position still for the Riders. T formation. Quick handoff to Caleb Schmidt.
Yep, able to keep his legs moving. See a little early contact, put that other offhand down, and able to pick up a few more yards there by Schmidt. They're all crucial right now. The Roughriders, that last drive, had a little bit of problem when they needed it and down to go. So
Cameron Kramer comes into the game. That's a freshman, 6'2", 240-pound freshman, for some extra help on that offensive line. Wing T formation. Fink with the ball, bounces to the outside, takes a man on, gets a first down and out of bounds. Good hard run from Dylan Fink there for a Fowler TV first down.
Yeah, a lot of times, it's interesting. You see Dylan Fink likes to go to his jump cut or a juke move, but this time he decided, he's going to make a business decision and go get the first down right through the center of the defensive back's chest. So another great run by Dylan Fink.
Absolutely. Riders in business, but they are taking their time. They want to march down the field and score and hopefully take up as much time as they can in the process. Wing T formation, wing back to the right side. Snap, hands off to Caleb Schmidt. Just a little fullback dive.
Yeah, picked up a couple yards there.
Trying to keep Shawnee honest, keep him inside, keep him watching Schmidt so they can try to make some of those sweeps work better on the outside.
Yeah, the Roughriders have done a nice job tonight setting up plays to come down the road. I started to speak to it on that hook and ladder where the play before they had went to a stop route. Just you see that corner break, you don't have any help over the top, so the next call was the hook and ladder, and again you see it go for 30 yards. I think you can probably expect the Roughriders to go back to the counter at some point tonight with some of the success they've had early and with the sweep.
First we got an off-tackle dive here from Caleb Schmidt. He gets a good 3 or 4 yards. That's going to bring up 3rd and 5 for the Riders.
Being a 4 is going to bring up 3rd and 5 from the Shawnee.
I've seen this Shawnee defense kind of tighten up a little bit, coming in first in the league. The Roughriders are up to 293 on the ground so far tonight, so obviously much more than they're used to giving up. But nonetheless, they did come into the night with the top rushing defense in the WBL.
Clock continues to tick. Down under 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Wing T formation. Meyerding looking to pass, looking down the field. He's going to run it, though. He's got some space. He's got more space. It gets out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Riders looking for a late hit.
Great decision-making there by Aiden Meyerding. He drug it out a little bit. You see that it's kind of the same thing off the counter. Instead you're coming back to backside on that boot. Shawnee did bail out and they were able to cover, but what that does is once half the defense flows to one side, you only have so many guys that can cover, and it leaves Aiden Meyerding essentially acting as another running back to roll out there with a couple guards out in front of him on the big gain there.
Aiden Meyerding has talked on the Bo Fry show. He was a guest there a couple weeks ago, and he said, my first option is always to run the ball on those boots. So good job by Aiden Meyerding of taking advantage of that. A little bit of a jump from the Shawnee Indians. That should be 5 yards for the Riders. That'll bring up a 1st and 5. 5 minutes, 8 seconds left is the only problem right now. You want the Riders to eat it up a little bit more.
I think you can expect that, especially being a 1st and 5 year, the Rough Riders are going to probably really try to grind this down. Obviously, the clock's not running now, but once they do get it going, they're not going to be in any hurry.
Wing T formation. Quick snap, sweep to the outside. Luke Grammel gets a couple yards. That'll bring up a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 for the Riders.
It's a good hard run by Luke. Turned up, kept it and bounced, keeps the clock running. Only a couple yards there, but again, when you're at 1st and 5, it gives you kind of the option to surrender a couple more of those yards that you would normally try to be reaching for.
And most importantly, let the clock run too. Full house backfield. Minerding, quick handoff to Caleb Schmidt. Not sure if that was a trap or a dive, but it didn't matter. Caleb Schmidt took it 7 or 8 yards for a Fowler TV first down. The Riders are inside the Dr. Mike Compton Neck and Back Pain Relief Center red zone.
Yep, there'll be in no hurry to snap this ball. And I'm sure the instruction to Aiden Meyerding is take that thing down as far as you can. The Rough Riders do not want to give the ball down, give the ball back to the Indians with much left if possible.
Play clock continues to tick, under 20 seconds. Game clock at 3 minutes and 58 seconds. Meyerding looking to pass, but he's got a lot of space to run, and he decides to right away. Meyerding down the field for a first down. Riders have found the boot all of a sudden, and Aiden Meyerding is making the Indians pay for it.
Yeah, I may have been a little off on the counter talk earlier. I think what they're deciding they're going to go back is do the boot. Again, as we spoke to, it's a flow one way with Aiden out the backside, and
that's one of those plays that we've talked about all season, Joe and I, a lot about. We wish that they'd break out the boot a little bit more. It's just a lot of times it goes uncovered when you see them fake it outside, and but as good as Caleb Schmidt's been, it's been hard to have a lot of outside calls.
Right.
Well, Riders inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal from the 6. Quick handoff to Caleb Schmidt. He dives over the pile. Old school dive.
Yeah, speaking to the boot, with any great play action is always set up by the action that happens earlier in the game. So the Rough Riders have really worked tonight, instead of really just feeding Caleb Schmidt, although he's up to 28 carries. They've established the 26 and 28 sweeps, which really allows them for that boot when you're rolling out. If you're not respecting the front side sweep, that and you have to give respect to it, then that boot's what's going to kind of be what you give up.
Cam Kramer comes out of the game. The coaches say, "Get back out there, son." He stays in there. Riders 7-6, 5 seconds left on the play clock, giving all their time. QB sneak, and he goes into the end zone. That almost looked like Shawnee was willing to let them score there.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if that wasn't their plan right there. Looks like they did have a couple of them. Well, looks like the Rough Riders actually just ran a good sneak and had a good push.
Yeah, it looked like enough of the Shawnee guys came forward that I don't think that was intentional, but
yeah,
they'll take it nonetheless. Riders get a good touchdown there to go up on the game. Right now, 30-28, huge extra point here from Brady Triplett. Good snap, good hold, kick is up. It's good. So a Salina Cycle Center touchdown and an Eagle Loan Company of Salina extra point to put the Riders up 31-28 over the Shawnee Indians. When we come back, we'll see if the defense can hold off this last 3 minutes of Shawnee. We'll be back with the Varsity Lanes kickoff right after this.
Guarneri's Pizzeria and Pub has partnered with Rider Nation Station this season so that every Friday night, Guarneri's can be Rough Rider Central. Guarneri's will be streaming Rough Rider football live every Friday night at 7, paired with your favorite Rider aid. Call Guarneri's during or after the game to place your pickup order for pizza, wings, or hoagies at 419-394-2244. Remember, Guarneri's, home of the signature Big Ralph.
Miller Funeral Home has been serving the Roughrider community in its time of need since the 70s. Our business is a family affair, dedicated to serving families with integrity, dignity, and compassion. Miller Funeral Home, proud to be a supporter of the Roughrider community.
Well, for the second week in a row, the Roughrider defense is looking for a stop on the final drive of the game. It's 31-28. Riders are up here in the fourth quarter. Grand Lake Health Systems Field. Zach Farrell, Drew Jacobs, Brady Triplett getting ready to take the varsity lane kickoff. We are all hoping that he can put it through the end zone and give Shawnee a long field. I will say Shawnee is leaving a huge hole in the middle of the field again where they were able to get that onside kick earlier. It's going to be a little short. Number 33 for Shawnee able to run that back. But he is tackled pretty well around the 25-yard line, so not too bad for the Roughrider kickoff coverage.
Yeah, honestly, Zach, that was great coverage for what the Roughriders, Shawnee has shown to be explosive in the kick return game. Roughriders don't cover a ton of kicks. That ball comes up short, but John Young's able to get down there and make a nice tackle, nice sound, sure tackle. And Shawnee's going to have to drive, they're going to force him to drive the length of the field. So
that was Israel Ross for Shawnee on that kick return. Well, here it goes. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Shawnee does have all 3 timeouts, and they need to drive down the field, down 3 points, at least get in the field goal range. And I'm sure they're going to be looking to put it in the end zone now. Spiker looking to pass it. Looks short, now looking down the field. Has a man open. I think that's number 7, Chase DePalma. Just leaked behind the coverage there.
Yeah, it's just a long time for those defensive backs to have to cover. You see them continue to work and try to get underneath, but at some point, the Roughriders just have to find a way to get home to Spiker, just making him a little uncomfortable as he's just kind of picking his poison back there against the Roughrider defense.
Yeah, Dylan Fink able to make a good play on that. Meeks gets the ball this time. Isaac Meeks, number 0, with a nice run. And the Shawnee Indians are moving again down the field and letting the clock go as they're doing it.
Both teams still have 3 timeouts. Obviously, Shawnee at this point is probably not going to be in an incredible hurry. They've been moving the ball at a pretty large per pop per play, so it'll be interesting to kind of see what the Roughriders do on the back end to see if they want to start stopping the clock.
Spiker looking for a QB draw. He's met for a loss. That's going to be a Spring Street Storage sack for the Riders and Taylor Compton.
Yeah, very nice play here. He triggers immediately. Is able to scrape, and then as he sees Spiker look to pick his hole, he's able to meet him there and keep him from gaining the first down there.
Great job, King, on that by Compton. Just like that, we have an Ace Cuts money down for this defense. 3rd down and 2. Quick pass by Spiker. He overthrows his receiver. Definitely had him open. And we've got a huge 4th down and 2 now. Just like that for Shawnee that was moving the ball now.
Yeah, you see 63 come through there for the Roughriders, able to get a hand up and kind of force that. I don't know that the ball necessarily got tipped, but, it definitely
I think he did tip
get
it.
a hand on it.
Jackson Rammel with a huge play. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, 4th down and 2. 1 minute and 12 seconds left. Shawnee looking for 2 yards. And the long count gets the Riders. Officials talking about it. Riders are pointing saying that there was a flinch on the Shawnee side. Initial call was offsides from St. Mary's. Watching the replay there, didn't see any flinch on the Shawnee side. That's just a huge Roots Pub penalty against the Riders. We've seen that on defense so much tonight.
Yeah, you can't continue to shoot yourself in the foot on in crunch time like this. The Roughriders had a chance to get off the field, but you got to refocus. Have to get a stop here, similar to last week.
Quick handoff No. J.J. Spiker faked us all out. Thought that Meeks had the ball. Spiker looking downfield, had a man wide open.
Yeah, you see a little post corner going on there at the bottom of the screen. Had, I believe, a little miscommunication by the defensive backs. Roughriders catch a break there on an inaccurate pass into the end zone by Spiker.
Reese Davidson was wide open, unable to be hit in stride. Fortunately for the Riders. That brings up 2nd down and 10. 5 in motion for the Indians. Spiker, lots of time, throws it downfield, and he finds Meeks on the wheel route. Well, we do have a flag coming here at the end of the game. That's going to be, I think, an illegal catch.
Yeah, usually when the referee lose their hat, they're gonna say that the wide receiver was not forced out of bounds. He intentionally took himself out, and then that does require a flag.
Let's watch the replay here on the Larry Schaff Auto Sales replay. This was watch number 0. Isaac Meeks out of the backfield on a wheel route. Does not get pushed out of bounds. Runs out of bounds on his own. Right there, his foot went out of bounds. You cannot be the first player to touch the ball if you come out of bounds on your own. Official on that side had his hats off. That's an illegal touching.
5-yard penalty. Loss of down.
And a loss of down. Huge penalty there.
Yeah, a crucial mistake there by the Shawnee Indian running back. Roughriders again catch another break. You just see a little simple wheel route. They had a crosser going across at the top of the screen. Meeks kind of snuck out the back again. A little miscommunication by the defensive backs. Looks like they were, one maybe thought they were in man, another was sitting in zone, and that did allow Meeks to be open down the field. But again, you hate to keep.
Should bring up if it's a loss of down, a 3rd down. 3rd and 15. But a huddle here on the field. Is this an official huddle or a? Didn't see any timeout.
Looks like they are going to call it. Looks like they are going to call it 3rd down. The only loss of that though is you almost give Shawnee a free timeout there to have a full discussion. That's a couple minutes that they normally would not have. So you hate to see that there being some discussion between the official from the Roughrider standpoint. But then again, the Roughriders could use it to their advantage to kind of take a breather and get their minds right to get off the field here on 3rd and 15 and the ensuing 4th down if you do get a stop.
3rd and 15 for the Riders. 50 seconds left.
3rd and 15. Money down!
This brings up a huge Ace Cuts money down for the Riders. Of course, this is 4th down territory at this point in the game for the Indians. Spiker looking to throw down the field all the time in the world. Murray's got in there. There's a meeting at the quarterback, and that's a great street score sack for the Riders.
You could not have picked a better time, Zach, to finally get Spiker on the ground in the backfield. He was down. Yeah, he was down in the pocket for quite some time, just kind of waiting. The Roughriders did a good job communicating, able to get him on the ground, put him in a very difficult 4th and 20, 21 for the game, essentially.
Shawnee calls a timeout. That's a huge play for the Roughriders. We're going to take a timeout when we come back. 44 seconds left, and it's 4th and 21 for Shawnee Indians. Don't tune away. We'll be back right after this. We're back, Grand Lake Health Systems Field. 44 seconds left, and the game comes down to this. 4th down and 21 for the Shawnee Indians. They need to get a 1st down here. Riders need to get a stop, and this game is over. Spiker, 5 wideouts. He just got sacked. He's in danger again. Throws it to his offensive lineman. I think that's an illegal receiver anyway. They do throw a penalty, couple penalties.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some Shawnee guys get tossed out of this game. But from the Roughriders, big-time sack there, back-to-back plays. What a time for the defense to show up. They did dial up a little bit of a blitz. They were going to force the issue. They weren't going to allow Spiker to stay back there in the backfield. Again, great stop by the Roughriders defense. You know, we spoke to it last week. We spoke to it to begin this. You know, big players just have to make big plays, and that's what you see there from the Roughriders.
The Roughrider defensive line that struggled all night to get pressure got 2 sacks back-to-back. That may have been actually a good pass backwards by Spiker. What a
yeah, just out of desperation, just trying to get the ball. And I did misspeak there. The Roughriders did only bring 1 extra.
Well, Drew, I have never seen this many flags on the field.
Yeah, I think if we saw it on the replay, I just from looking up after, you know, we were kind of high-fiving and celebrating, I did see some Roughriders hit the deck after, so I'm not sure what caused that, if there was some...
Lots of Roots Pub penalty.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
I think that we're going to have several offsetting personal fouls, probably.
Yeah, and I do believe there was some, maybe a finger that had went up from a Shawnee player even. So.
Unfortunately, the official's mic not working tonight. Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the offense. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense. All offense.
So we have 2. Was that 2 or 3 on each team?
2 on each team, it looks like.
2 on each team. I lost count. So 2 dead ball penalties. That's offsetting fortunately after the play. So the Riders keep the ball. Turnover on downs. That's a Spring Street Storage turnover on downs. And now the Riders have 36 seconds to hopefully end this game. 2 timeouts left for Shawnee. I don't believe that Riders should have to do anything other than kneel it, right?
No, you should be okay here. You know, Shawnee does have the 2 timeouts, but and you know, they will likely make the Roughriders at least snap it. But a couple seconds each play, you can anticipate that the Roughriders should be able to take that last knee on 3rd down and let the clock burn the rest of the way.
What a couple great games for you and I to be able to call these past 2 weeks. I kind of circled these 2 weeks, though, at the beginning of the season when we started to see Van Wert and Shawnee playing very well. We thought this could be, you know, our best games of the season here.
Yeah, you see, they match up well against the Roughrider defense. You know, the Roughriders have kind of had their way on the run game, but been unable to get a couple key stops. But again, the one that matters the most is that last one. So see the Roughriders get into victory formation here and looking to take a couple knees and continue to build this momentum into the next week.
Dylan Fink halfway to New Bremen, back making sure that nothing slips out. Victory formation is always the best formation that the offense can have all night. I think Shawnee is not even going to use their timeouts. Going to let the Riders just run this clock out, and so the Riders are going to win this 31-28. Let's talk a little bit, Drew, about those huge plays by big players that we talked about early on. Trey Moore, just looking back now, stopping that touchdown down here at the north end zone, able to knock that ball out, and then the defense able to get the stop. Taylor Compton making a great tackle, and then down here, that whole defensive line, Mullins, Rammel, lots of guys down in there making some big plays for the defensive line. So those three huge plays on the defense end up being the plays that really made this game. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have the Fellowship of Christian Athletes post-game show. We'll be back with that and a look at the statistics and more right after this.
Albert Sporting Goods, outfitting your team since 1980. Our products consist of individual and team equipment for all community organizations, club teams, high school and collegiate sports. We personalize your gear with embroidery, screen printing, digitizing and graphic design with on-site services to deliver quality uniforms, spirit wear, and fulfill every equipment need. Order online now at albertsportinggoods.com.
JT's provides unique menu selections in a casual atmosphere you're sure to love. Whether you stop by for a meal or catch a game in the bullpen, make yourself at home and enjoy. Food, friends, fun. JT's Brew and Grill. Come dine with us today.
And speaking of great teams, St. Mary's Foundry would like to thank its very own team of hardworking employees for their loyalty and dedication. If you're looking for rewarding challenges and first-string wages and benefits, check us out at stmfoundry.com or on hometownopportunities.com. St. Mary's Foundry, where iron and ingenuity meet.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes is a middle school and high school club looking to spread God's love throughout numerous schools and communities of our local area. FCA's favorite play of the game is both teams joining together in prayer at the conclusion of the game. God bless you, sports fans.
Welcome back to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes post-game show. You can see that as the teams gather together for a prayer together. That's the Fellowship of Christian Athletes' favorite play of the game. Drew, what are we looking at for statistics here at the end of this crazy, another instant classic game?
I think just from, if you were to pull these couple stats out, you would have thought the St. Mary's would have run away with this. So we had spoke to it a couple times on already tonight, but the time of possession, St. Mary's had almost doubled up Shawnee. They had close to 31 minutes worth of time of possession where Shawnee was at 16. And also total offensive plays, the Roughrider ran 61 plays to Shawnee's 41. Now, with that, there was a couple more explosive plays, obviously, that Shawnee had made than the Roughriders had. But as you see Dylan Fink there do a backflip to celebrate. Follow up with some of the other stats. St. Mary's had 22 first downs to Shawnee's 18. They did have 366 total yards with 335 on the ground. Shawnee had 333 total. Very balanced as they had been all season. 144 through the air on a couple big plays, and then 189 on the ground. Individual statistics for the Roughriders. Caleb Smith ended up with 28 carries. Much less workload than the 42 he had last week, but still was rather effective with 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Luke Ramwell had his best game of the season, and I believe to this point in his career, 14 rushes, 107 yards, and the elusive touchdown that he did score. Dylan Fink followed it up with 12 rushing yards, 12 rushes with 62 on the ground. And I don't have the stats, but that last drive were 2 big rushes by Aiden Minerding that did pick up quite a bit as the field was in crucial crunch time for the Roughriders. For Shawnee, J.J. Spiker was 6 for 14. He had the 144 yards and a touchdown. Isaac Meeks did have 40 yards on the ground and 13 rushes with 2 touchdowns. J.J. Spiker did eclipse the 100 yards with a long of 50 and a singular touchdown. And then the Indian receivers were kind of split out throughout, with Jaron Bagley having the long one of 82 yards and the singular touchdown. As you kind of look at that, very balanced besides the time of possession. The Roughriders made a few key plays. They were able to get that big stop there at the end. They also got the onside kick to start the second half, and then that end of the first half, I think, is cannot be spoken about enough. That stop that they made.
Yeah.
You give up points there, you lose momentum. You got to come out and get a stop again. You might be a little less intrigued to onside kick it, but with the lead like that, you kind of look to put them away, and that's what the Roughriders did, and that ended up kind of helped be a deciding factor of that first initial score. So.
And you needed all 3 phases of the game to work tonight. So you had the good the great 32-yard field goal from Brady Triplett at the end of the half. Look at the winning score tonight. We're winning by 3. You don't make that field goal, you don't. We're not sitting here. You needed that Brady Triplett to have that great onside kick to start the second half. you needed the offense to do what they did tonight, which is basically score almost every single possession, march the ball down the field, keep the ball out of Shawnee's hands. And then you needed the defense that struggled a lot tonight to step up and make those big plays when it counted, and we saw that happen 3 times. So an excellent game from the Riders on all phases of the field. Great job great playoff implications for this team. So not to look too far ahead, we're at Kenton next week. Joe will be back. He's watching his grandson play tonight in Van Buren. Joe will be back next week. We're at Kenton, and then we're back home for Elida the final week. We're going to have Mark Sisko here that week with me. So you don't want to look too far ahead, but those should be wins. Looking at where they're at and you never want to overlook teams like that because that's when they'll bite you. But those should be wins. The Riders should be really putting themselves into potentially having a home playoff game for at least that first week of playoffs, which is just incredible considering where this team started with the 3 losses.
Yeah, it says a lot about the kids and the quality that they are. And I had started to speak to that before we start having all the excitement. But I don't believe the initial. If this game had been played in week 2, I'm not sure this is how this goes. The development, the maturity that you're seeing. Being able to take those punches and the changes in momentum and just being able to right the ship, go back out there, take care of business, do your jobs, and essentially continue to string wins together. That's exactly the way you want to be playing as you get into the playoffs. And, we've seen before that the teams struggle defending the wing tee and, a key stop here or there in the playoffs. And, again, you could find yourself into a deep run even, if the Rough Riders enter at 7-3, you really just don't know. So, great work by the Rough Rider team. Kudos to the coaching staff and the kids themselves that, they really are just continuing to press on and find ways to win and better themselves and set them up for success as they continue on.
I want to give all of our crew kudos tonight. Great job, great camera angles, great job in the truck. It's not easy when it's the B team with me being on play-by-play when Joe's gone. So we really appreciate all of those guys. Rich Spencer, Doug Spencer, Justin Chisholm, Dave Weilbacher, Mark Huber, Logan Yelton, John Boyd. For my partner, Drew Jacobs, I'm Zach Farrell. We'll see everybody next week. The Riders get the victory, 31-28 over the Shawnee Indians. Goodbye. Good night, everyone.
Are you looking for a fun place to grab a bite to eat and a few drinks? Then stop by Roots Pub on Spring Street in downtown St. Mary's. The kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The food menu still has all the classic favorites, but now also has some tasty new options. Roots Pub always has a game on and has live entertainment every weekend from some of the best bands around. Check out our Facebook page for a full entertainment schedule and daily food specials. Roots Pub, your go-to place for great food, cold drinks, and a fun atmosphere. Are you in the need of storage space? At Spring Street Storage, we have several units to help organize your life. From 10 by 10 to 10 by 30, we have units to keep your valuables dry and clean. We offer monthly rentals and long-term discounts. Give us a call at 567-279-1536 for all your storage needs.
Buffalo Wild Wings in St. Mary's, proud to support Rough Rider Athletics and the Memorial Student Athletes. Join Buffalo Wild Wings for each Rough Riders football game streamed on Rider Nation Station. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, drinks, sports.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.